All right, yo, it's your boy Yoshi Kid Neo, and today we're back with more D&D action. All right, so Martin is unable to join us this week, which is why he is thrown in jail right now. And Miranda is also unable to join us this week, but I'll explain what happens to her character for this session. So, on our last session, you guys had left Siege's fortress and were headed on your way to the Dragonrin Mountains to the town of Irisk, which is the home of a prestigious Dragonborn clan that is known for their trading methods, and I think their dealings with the kobolds as well. So they do deal with the kobolds quite a bit, and this is also the hometown that Friddrayg is from. So after the tournament, you were given a couple horses and a wagon for your journey, and you set off. So on your way, you encountered a group of ogres that attacked a caravan for whatever reason they attack caravans for. Probably just because they were hungry, they saw an opportunity and they took it. Regardless of what happened, quite a few people died, and one gentleman had asked for you guys to help. So you guys went to help, but Anara sort of ran into one of them that was sleeping in some bushes and alerted them, all of you guys. And they got pissed off at you because they thought that you guys were trying to steal their recipe for a soup. So you guys fought them, you killed them, and you made your way back to Irisk. Also, Tony, I don't know if your character sheet got updated, but you're at full health.
Did we get the soup recipe?
No, you did not. He didn't have it written down.
Not even worth it.
No, it wasn't worth it at all. So, after that, you guys made it to the town of Irisk, and once you got there, once Friddrayg had revealed who he was, you guys went to the lawmaker's office, in which he was promptly put in jail for crimes that his family apparently committed by stealing from some of the other traders in the town. So an investigation is underway. They have you guys ended with Jeffrey, or with Jiff, going and talking to Friddrayg as his phone call, quote unquote. And from that, you start the session. So you guys discuss kind of what you want to do. Jeff, you are in the lawmaker's office with Edisot right now, but I'll have you guys discuss real quick, and I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Just to clarify,
Yes.
is their legal system similar to that of the United States?
You mean where they have like a trial and stuff?
Yeah. Evidence is presented and things like
Yeah,
that.
something
Same
like that.
laws.
Like, yeah, they have the same sort of like they collect evidence against the accused and they reveal it before, in this case, the council. But mostly it's Edisot because she is the, I guess, the judge, if you will. She's
Gotcha.
like the leader of the law. And I'll explain more about the Dragonborn stuff because for Drake, I told him to do it, but he forgot to sort of explain, quote unquote, while you guys were traveling, like how things work in Irisk. But yeah, pretty much you guys are going to be looking for a way to clear their names. And I'll be right back. They did, or Friddrayg did give you Jeff. I don't know if you remember him saying, but he said the only person he could think of that might have anything to gain from this would be a
The store.
dragonborn by named Myrod.
Yeah, Myrid.
Myrod. Yeah,
Myrid.
Have
Myrod.
you seen my rod?
No.
All right, I'll be right back while you guys discuss your plan of actions, and then I'll also tell you what happened to Anara.
So, as of now, I'm the only one that knows anything about what I spoke with uh, Justice Lady about. So I guess I already talked to her last week, so I'm gonna make my way back to you guys.
Fair enough. Are we
And
just mingling in the town then? Or
last time,
tavern?
I thought it was still at night before we went to sleep, and I thought we were in the you guys were in the tavern still.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm in a room, locked in a room.
Well, yeah. I locked the drunkard people in their rooms,
Yeah,
so
you
they
did.
wouldn't. So I go back and see if you guys sobered up, and you haven't yet, I guess. Not really sure what time it's been. So I was gonna, sleep and tell you guys in the morning. Was my initial plan.
That sounds good. I think Adolin's habitual pattern here would be to have a few drinks, then head out into the woods and sleep outside.
Hmm.
So that's probably what'll happen. Being a half elf, doesn't need much sleep, but he'll get
Yeah.
his 8 hours of rest in for sure.
So, how are we gonna try and get Friddrayg free?
Do we know what crime he committed?
So
Apparently, stole stuff in his
Yeah.
family, and when we came in, they basically took him in. And was like, "Hey, you and your family kind of messed us around and stole stuff."
which is weird because he was with us the entire time. Like,
True, and he's innocent until proven guilty, and I don't see any stolen goods in his person.
yeah.
Well, I think they recovered some stolen goods from the family's place.
Okay, but he wasn't there. We're gonna go with that.
Or
He wasn't part of this. It was his
I think-
family. He's
well,
disowned.
I think what Brady said was that um, this happened like way back in the day before he left.
I thought it happened recently.
Oh, well, yeah, we just I guess we need to clarify that. But
And then I was told to look out for Mirid, this person that is either first or third. I think they're third in this trading business that Friddrayg's father is in, and Friddrayg's father is like number 2, and they're trying to get the Friddrayg family out of running for the business, or I don't know, something like that.
Got it.
And we're told to talk to the owner of the business and to look for Mirid or find out whereabouts about that.
You're gonna look for my rod.
So just to clarify, is it still right after I was done talking to the law lady, and then it's still nighttime? And
At this point in time, you have just exited the holding cell, and the door has closed behind you.
Okay.
And that is where we start. You were the only one that was inside of the lawmaker's office.
Yep.
Everyone else pretty much was hanging outside, and I think somebody, Dravorkin, was probably at the tavern.
I was.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
so Dravorkin and Nishan, you're at the tavern too?
No, I'm locked in a room at the moment.
Mhm.
Remember,
I
'cause he
got-
got really drunk.
I got really drunk and
belligerent.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So you're being held right now, but only
Yeah.
until the morning, until you're not drunk anymore. So it was in this whole fit of drunkenness that Dvorkin, you noticed that Anara, somebody slipped her a letter. She read it by herself and then exited the tavern without saying anything. But
Rude.
yeah, by the time you had gotten up and exited the tavern, she wasn't there anymore. So you don't know where she is. You have a general idea that she could still be in Iresk, but you don't really know. All your horses are still there, as well as the cart. But yeah, Anara is definitely gone right now.
And was Mirid the person we were told to talk to, or is Mirid the third person in line for the business and trying to get rid of Friddrayg's family?
From what Friddrayg said, is Mirid is like the next in line behind his family. So if
Suspicious.
yeah, so that's what, and he's always butted heads with Friddrayg's father, which his name is Pyrith, I think. Yeah, Pyrith. Yeah, that's Friddrayg's father. So
Also, when was the theft committed?
So the theft, the investigation didn't launch until a couple weeks ago, but there has been theft over the past couple months. Usually small trinkets that, went unnoticed. Well, not necessarily unnoticed, but unreported, just because they were so tiny that maybe we misplaced them, and that's it. But over the past couple weeks, a couple of larger items have gone missing, and you you could talk around and try to figure out what those items are and try to find their correlation. But from what Friddrayg had told you, Jeff, is that my rod. How are you saying it, Jeff?
I'm saying mirrored.
Myrid. Okay, I would rather say Myrid than my rod because I'm just gonna
No,
back up.
You don't like talking about my rod?
I do not.
Why can't we talk about my rod?
I don't want to talk about my rod.
So I've been speaking to my rod lately, and
What's he saying? Is he lonely? I'm just joking.
Uh,
Anyway.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Myrid is the only person that you know that has a problem with Pyrith.
Hmm.
And Pyrith is Friddrayg's father. He's also the second in line for, I guess you could say, chiefdom of the Trader clan. But the way it works in the town of Irisk, and this is something that Friddrayg would have told you guys on your way down, is that Irisk is built on 4 main sort of clans. Not really families, because it's not a family that takes control of it per se, but it's more of a clan. So the clan is made up of different families, and the families get switched out ever so often when it's deemed fit by the other council members. So the 4 main clans that you see is the soldiers. These are the ones that are the military might of Irisk. They are led by Jorim, and then you have the hunters. These are led by a red dragonborn named Berniri. So say that real slow, Berniri. Anyway, then you've got Edisot, who is the leader of the order. So she's pretty much the lawmaker, but she's the leader of the order. So they're the ones that keep the peace in the town. And then you got Simoth the Fierce, who is the leader of the Merchants clan, which is also the clan that Friddrayg's family lives in. And then also, instead of family names in this town, they use titles. So you're given a first name at birth, and as you prove yourself, or based on your actions that you do throughout your life, you gain a title. So it would probably behoove you, from what Friddrayg said on the way to the town, to learn their titles and possibly how they came about them. So anyway, Jeff, as you exit the cells, you see Edisot sitting at her desk, scribbling some notes. There's also 2 armed guards at either side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And as you exit, Edisot's scribbling down, and she looks back and she's like, good. So if you could be quick and go ahead and exit. It is almost time for me to go to our council meeting, and I cannot have any civilians just wandering around our chambers.
Okay. I'll come back with more information. See you later.
That's just fine. Yes, come back in the morning. And then she sort of like waves you off as you leave.
And I go to the tavern.
All right. So as you're walking through the tavern, I guess you can kind of hear the commotion from what has happened. As you walk in, you see Nishan sort of being escorted by 2 Dragonborn guardsmen.
What's going on?
Well, this drunken idiot over here has been causing trouble, so we're going to let him sober up in his cell for the night, and then we'll release him in the morning.
Wasn't he in his room?
Oh wait.
I got out.
I tried. Okay, just stay safe. We'll see you in the morning.
Hey, you guys are big.
Anyway, let's go. and he sort of nudges you with his elbow on the back, and you exit the tavern on the way to the lawmaker's office. So, at this point, it is just Trevorkin, Jiff, and Adeline left with that's not disappeared or thrown behind bars.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I explained everything to them so far. Um, about Alan's father, his business, and the individual who's trying to kick his family out of running. And I suggest we just look for this in the morning. Start tracking people down, asking about what's his name again? My
Murid?
My rod.
Myrid. Yeah, Myrid.
Yeah.
So
All right. So, the barkeeper has given you guys a room for the night, 2 gold for each person. And then for Nishan, because he's drunk, you have a 10 gold fine to pay. And then you'll be released in the morning.
Although
Huh?
they will vouch for me that I said that I would be leaving and going to hang out just outside of town.
Yeah, that's. I figured
Just-
that you were going to slumber.
That's
in
kind
the
of just
trees.
how my habit is.
Yeah, being a hermit and all.
Yeah. People are weird.
Truth. So yeah, so Jeff and Dravorkin, it'll be 2 gold for an inn, a room at the inn.
didn't
And
I
then
buy like 4 rooms already?
I think you did actually.
He did.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, you guys are good. I was trying to, I guess, do recap, and I forgot about the tiny details. But yes.
It's all good. It's all good.
Which, at
Okay.
this point, the barkeeper gives you 5 gold back, since 2 of your compatriots will not be staying at the inn tonight, because one of them is in a jail cell, and the other one has disappeared.
Hey.
Okay.
So go ahead and replenish all spell slots and all of your HPs, and Jeff, I don't know how many charges you had on that wand. If you already had max, then no need to roll. If you didn't, then you can roll.
I have max.
Okay.
Or yeah, it was 2 out of 3.
Okay, you would have gotten at least 1 anyway, so just put it at max. And then, you haven't used your Wand of Secrets yet, have you, Nishan?
Not.
Okay. Alright, so in the morning,
Change my spells.
you can,
Yeah, I want to do the same.
yeah, you can hear the birds a-chirping, and you can hear, as you're waking up, this sort of bustling of a town or of a village as it starts to wake up. You can hear folks are chatting outside of your window in the tavern as they pass by. They're just talking about, the nice formalities like wonderful weather we're having today. I made this awesome casserole last night, things like that. Becky's going to school. It's really cool. Random little tidbits of small talk. If you look at the little improvised list at the very top right of the map, you will notice that number 9, that is where the the trader stalls are. So that is where a lot of the commotion is coming from, as people are selling food, they're selling wares and stuff like that. So, Nishan, you can go ahead and you had just been released from the lawmaker's office, and
Yeah.
the guards take 10 gold from you.
Yeah,
And they lean in.
That.
Yeah, they lean in and say, if it happens again, you'll be banished from this village. We
Oh.
appreciate newcomers from all around, but we have no place for drunken belligerents such as what you had done last night.
I am terribly sorry for my actions. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. That wine that you guys produce is, it's got a kick to it. I'll say it like that.
Oh yeah, it definitely does have a kick, and I wouldn't expect an elf to understand their limitations, but that is beyond my knowledge. Anyway,
Yes.
You have a wonderful time here, and let's not have this happen again.
Oh, believe me, sir, you will not see me again.
So they grab a bag of your stuff and hand it to you, and it has all of your belongings.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to exit the cell, and I'm going to go to the merchants and see what they have for sale.
All right.
Um,
And
I
what
go with him.
All right. So, Jeff, as you exit the tavern, you see Nishan making his way from the lawmaker's office over to the traders,
Hmm.
and you join up with him. Dvorkin and Adeline, what are you guys up to?
I'm gonna join the merchant.
I'm just gonna kind of wander town and observe
Okay.
what's going on.
All
Look
right.
at the shops and things.
Has Jeff explained to us the whole Myra situation yet?
He explained it
Or
to everybody, and we'll go ahead and say, for the sake of time, that at this point, when he meets you, he sort of goes over what he learned.
okay,
Uh, And just for clarification, you were in a different cell block, and you were unable to talk to Friddrayg or his family throughout the night. You were in a smaller holding chamber that's meant for nightly visits, as opposed to a longer span of
okay,
time.
yeah, okay. That was going to be my next question, but cool. All right, awesome.
All right. So as you guys make your way over to where the trader stations are, you see quite a few different stalls that are open up. Think of an open air market. So there's a bunch of different tables. There's a bunch of different panels behind the tables where traders sit. On one side, you see a bunch of sort of edibles and food items and stuff like that. About the middle, you see like little crafts and stuff, so like little trinkets, amulets, things like that. And on the right hand side, or on the, so we'll say the left side, so back here in the northwestern portion of the trade columns, that is where the blacksmith and armor, or that's where the armor and weaponsmith are. So they have like their furnaces, and you can hear them hacking away at the metal with clink, clink as they're hammering away and stuff like that.
Nice. I'm gonna go and see what the trinkets. I'm gonna go to the trinket store and see what they have.
All right, so you'll walk over to the trinket store, and let's see, because I gotta make sure I do this right. Because he actually made a NPC for all of the traders that you guys can talk to. So
Nice.
Damn.
He got
I'm just gonna be hovering in the background like a boyfriend at the mall.
okay,
nice.
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right, so you go over to the trinket area, and you can see a sort of small dragonborn. She has blue scales, and she is got these like these special spectacles that allow her to like zoom in on what she's working on. And currently, she's got a couple of jewels set to her right side and a couple tools in her hand as she is plucking away at making a new amulet.
Ooh. Excuse me, miss. What are you working on there?
She sort of makes note that you are there, and then continues to pluck away at her thing. And for a couple seconds, afterwards, you can hear her go, "Rats," and she puts it down onto the table. You broke my concentration. You broke my concentration. You. She starts to sort of clap her hands and put them close to her mouth as she closes her eyes, very frustrated looking. Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. Ooh, deep breath. Ooh. Okay. How can I help you?
I'm sorry to disturb you, ma'am, but
Oh
I was
no, that is the past. We are in the present. How can I help you?
yes, I was wondering what items you might have for sale. Possibly something magical, maybe?
Ooh, and she sort of places her hands on the table, and she plucks down a couple more of her little magnifying glasses and gives you a nice look down. Magical. Ah, I see that arcane energy bleeds off of you, doesn't it?
It kind of does, yeah.
Oh, what do you do? Is that robe magical, or are you magical?
I'm magical. The clothes have nothing to do with it.
Ooh, show me.
I'm
and
magical.
and then I proceed to show her. I start enchanting firebolt, and
All right. So you hold out your hand and you sort of let the arcane energy fill your hand as it sort of swirls, and it starts out sort of a bluish color and then begins to turn more red, and then finally it's an orb of fire. As you hold it out, it sort of lights up the tent, and you can see she is just in awe. Ooh, that
Mhm,
is
mhm.
really cool. And she
Thank
sits
you.
down and goes, I have a gift, you see. Uh, there's something with my eyes. I'm able to tell if something is magical or not. And I can't explain it, but it has led others to become quite jealous of me. And she sort
Okay.
of looks at you and she sort of ponders, but you don't seem to be jealous sorts. You seem more intrigued by my gift. So, let me.
Adelyn's ears had been perked up by this comment, and he starts to walk a little bit closer.
All right. So she looks down and goes through her little bag of goodies and pulls out a couple of different gems, placing them on the table. Now,
Mhm.
if you would, tell me what you see. And go ahead and roll a perception check.
Sure. Perception. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I
So
just see
just yeah.
gems.
So what you yeah
There's
you
nothing on the table. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't see.
where even is this table?
Yeah.
All right. So you look down and you sit there and you try to see what she's trying to tell you, and all you can really make out is there are a couple of gems.
Um, all I see are just gemstones in front of me. What do you see?
Oh, what do I see, you ask? Well, do you see this red gem right here? And she points at the gem that's most in the middle.
Hmm.
This one is enchanted.
Enchanted with what?
That I do not know. All I can see is if it is imbued with magic, but what properties of the magic lie, I do not understand it. Unfortunately, my eyes are not that great, I guess you could say. But
Hmm.
I'm a little weary. If you are able to conjure the elements, if you are arcane in nature, why is it that someone of your existence cannot see the existence of the magic? Yes. She
Do you
sort of
mind?
starts to ramble to herself in little whispers and such.
Do you mind if I hold the gem in my hand for a second? I'm not gonna steal anything. Do you mind if I hold it?
Steal, and she kind of becomes a little guarded. Have
Hmm.
you heard of what's been happening as the
Yeah,
past couple
I have
weeks?
actually, and it involves uh, I guess a friend of mine that he's been I guess wrongfully accused, and we are trying to figure all this stuff out. So, in a way, we're gonna both help each other out if you don't mind.
Well, come a little closer, please, and I have something I must tell you.
Okay, I step a little bit closer.
All right, Adeline, go ahead and roll a perception check for me to see if you can hear this,
All right.
since you were coming closer. Yeah,
Nice.
so you'll be able to hear what she says. So, since the items have been stolen in the past few weeks, the lawmaker has pretty much forbidden us merchants of selling anything of particular value, anything that is 250 gold or more, just to make sure that our wares are safe and it doesn't ruin our economy. Unfortunately, they cannot, or unfortunately for them, they cannot see the magic of my gems. So, they just see them as regular gems. But this gem right here, And she sort of picks up the red gem and looks like she's handing it to you. This one's worth more.
Interesting. Interesting.
So she hands you the gem.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Identify.
All right. So you cast Identify, and you can tell that this gem is definitely magical, and it is. Hold on, I gotta find.
Wait, let me see if that's actually how it works.
Pretty sure it does. I'm almost certain it's like it tells you. Identify should tell you the properties of the gem, if it has any charges, anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but I have the description here. I just gotta find it again. All right, so you know that this is the Ruby of the War Mage. It is etched with runes, and it's about 1 inch in diameter. And it allows you to use a simple or martial weapon as a spellcasting focus for your spells. For this property to work, you must attach the ruby to the weapon by pressing the ruby against it for at least 10 minutes. Thereafter, the ruby can't be removed unless you detach it as an action or the weapon is destroyed. Not even an anti-magic field causes it to fall off. The ruby does fall off the weapon if your attunement to the ruby ends.
Interesting.
So pretty
Wow.
much this allows you to hold a weapon in your hand and use it.
Instead of my wand
Well,
or whatever, yeah, or my spell book, yeah.
yeah, because your spell book for wizards counts as your spellcasting focus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so instead of having to hold out your book, you could instead hold out whatever weapon you attach this ruby to, and you would be able to do your spells that don't require a particular material component that has a actual value of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess, do you guys understand when you cast spells, like what the components portion of it means?
Don't
Yeah,
you?
you're consuming that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so all right, so let me try to find. So like
It gets burned up in the spell, basically.
Yeah.
well, not always.
Oh.
So
Whereas-
yeah, so let's so alarm, for instance, the component is a tiny bell and a piece of silver wire. So what that does, unless the spell in the description specifically says that the item is consumed, then it is not. Now, since that component is very specific, or actually I think because that component, it doesn't say that it has an actual value of something, so it doesn't say like a ruby worth 50 gold or something, then your component pouch would have that item in it. That's the idea. Also, your spellcasting focus would be able to cast that spell depending. Or actually, no, never mind. No, not the spell. There's some that require your spellcasting focus specifically. So that would be what this ruby would be good for. But yeah, stuff that says like a bit of bat fur, for instance, unless it's something that actually gets consumed upon being cast, your component pouch that you have theoretically should have that item. Now, when something says,
I see it here. Diamonds worth 300 gold pieces,
Yeah.
which the spell consumes.
exact, so a spell like that, you actually have to find that item. But since you guys went to the finished the Maiden's Lair, and you guys all have your components from 2nd level and lower, that is what's filled in your component pouch. And beyond that, I'll do more research, but 3rd level and beyond, I'm gonna sort of fiddle with the rules on what the components, like how you guys find them and stuff like that. But just keep that all in mind. And I still have to figure out like the spellcasting focus rule, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, never mind. Here it is. The material component. Casting some spells requires particular objects specified in parentheses in the component entry. A character can use a component pouch or a spell casting focus in place of the component specified for the spell. But if a cost is indicated for the component, they must have that specific component. So this pretty
Oh.
much, yeah, this ruby foregoes whatever item you need to cast your spell. So, for instance, Jeff getting shit on by those birds. If he had the spellcasting focus ruby, he wouldn't need those bird wings or feathers, and he wouldn't have got shat on. So,
Got it. That's
And
kind
it
of-
doesn't, so it's only for ones that don't get consumed?
yeah,
Let me
only
clarify that.
only
Okay.
only ones that don't get consumed
Bummer.
and that don't have a particular value like that. Whatever one.
ruby.
Yeah.
like the
Diamond's worth 300 pieces. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shame.
that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, so as you identify it, your eyes kind of glow with a arcane energy that this trader can see. Ooh, what are you doing? Please let me know.
I don't say anything. Well, it's a ritual, so I don't need.
Yeah, you don't have to use your spell slot, but so
Okay.
you're gonna end up standing there for like 10 minutes though, like with your eyes
Yeah.
glowing,
Yeah,
and
and I ignore her for 10 minutes.
and
then
she kind
I come
of
out of-
midway through, she kind of gets a little bit of annoyed and it goes to tap you, but Adeline is right there and
And I'm
kinda
like,
stops her. Yeah.
He does this often, don't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How long does it take? Do you know?
Shouldn't be much longer.
Well, I am patient.
You wouldn't happen to have any diamonds, would you?
Diamonds? Well, I do. I have some of pretty good quality, some of poor quality, and then some of better quality. But those all
wouldn't-
run different prices.
Happen to have one that's specifically 300 gold pieces, would you?
Well, she kind of leans in, and I don't know, but I do.
Yes,
have
I know.
these-
250, 250. I get it.
Oh, you heard.
Yes, I heard.
And she sort of steps away. We really got to work on that whispering. Well, since you do know, I do have these items, but unfortunately they can tell when some of my gems are worth more. This one has the appearance of a ruby of about 100 gold, but because of the enchantment, it is worth way more.
Right.
So until this whole investigation clears up, I have to tell you that I do not have these diamonds.
I guess that's all right.
But come back and, when it's all cleared away and we could make some trades.
Of course, I'm definitely in the market. And with that, I just kind of keep meandering through her little shop, looking at odds and ends.
Yeah, so she's got like different jewelry pieces, some rings, and of course gems. She seems to mostly tinker with gemstones and trying to put them inside of the amulets to make them worth even more. So at this point in time, 10 minutes have passed and your ritual has been completed and you've learned all the properties of that item.
Ooh, I really want this ruby now.
As much as I want to sell it to you right now, since I cannot charge you full price, I cannot leave it. Let it leave my sight right now.
How about if I do this? You said your max was 250, right?
It is.
How about this? I will pay you the 250, and I see these gems before you have no idea what they do, correct? You just see the magic coming off of them, yeah?
That is correct.
What if I stay here and you employ me for the rest of the money, and I can identify all these gems for you?
And she looks around and she's like, well, unfortunately, as much as I want to do that, that is my only one.
This is your only one?
That is my only one.
Okay.
Most of my other ones I give to the blacksmith and they imbued them into their weapons whenever I see something magical about my gems. But since the whole investigation has started, I've been a little weary, so I don't like to keep too many on me just in case I get robbed.
No, that's understandable. I can understand that.
But what we can do, how about this? I will sell you all 4 of these gems, I will
Okay.
have to inflate the prices of 2 of them, but you will get 4 gems out of it, and theoretically be paying me the right amounts, plus some, of course, for that ruby that you are so interested in.
And the ruby is being involved with this, the 4, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So I will sell you 4 gems, one of being that ruby in which you have taken an interest to, and the total will come to about 800 gold.
You said 800?
I did.
And how much is platinum worth? You said 100, right?
No, 10. 10 gold equals 1 platinum.
Mm,
And, of course, you don't have to make your decision right away. If you need to
well,
meander and see if there's anything else you want to buy, we will
let
be
me.
here all day.
Yeah, let me come back to you. I might have to. This might have to be an end of day type of sell.
Okie dokie. Well, we do close shop usually around daybreak. That way, what little light we have left, we are able to place our goods in our boxes for the
I
night.
understand. Understood. What time is it right now?
So at this point in time, the day has just begun, and it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I will definitely be back to see you, ma'am. You have a good day.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Mhm.
And as she does that, she starts to go
Oh,
down on her magnifying glass and is picking up her amulet that she was working on earlier.
before you pick that amulet up, let me ask you one more question.
Oh?
Um, is there a trader that you know of by the name of Mirid?
Ooh, Mirid. Curious, what business do you have with Mirid, of all people?
I just want to clarify some rumors. That's all. Do you and try to gather some information about them? What particularly do you know about this trader?
Well, Mirid is one of the ones that oversees most of the transactions with the kobolds. He doesn't actually handle the trades per se. He mostly accompanies Pyrith as they go to trade with the kobolds, and that is only because Mirid has shown that he is not as good at handling himself in a trade with kobolds as Pyrith is.
What do you mean by that?
Well, once we started dealing with the kobolds, we had to figure out as a clan how is it best to trade? Who should we send? And we sent groups of people to trade, and we noticed that the kobolds don't like to deal with too many people at one time, so we figured out our combo is 2 people per trade. We sent out Pyrith, of course, because he is one of our more notorious traders, and of course the leader of our clan.
Right.
Our leader is Simoth, and I don't know if you know, but we go by titles here in Irisk. But
Okay.
she is known as Simoth the Fierce, and the reason she is known by such is because she's very intimidating when it comes to her trades. She won't take no for an answer, and she definitely won't undersell her goods.
Mhm.
So we learned pretty quickly that she's not the best suited for kobold trading, for they are skittish and easily fearful of those that are bigger than them. And as you can see, most dragonborns are bigger than kobolds.
Right.
Anyways, Pyrith recommended that maybe Myrid come by. So when they went on a trade venture together, Pyrith let Myrid do all of the talking, and we lost a great sum of money because he made a very, very bad trade. So since then, Pyrith has accompanied him, mostly to try to teach him the ways, but you can tell every time they come back from their trading venture that Myrod is not very happy with what has gone down.
Interesting. Do you know whereabouts we could find him?
Let us see. Most of the time, at least during the day, he can be seen walking around the trading stalls, seeing if there's anything that the kobolds are looking for in order to bring it to them and try to trade it with Pyrith. Other locations would be, let's see. He usually spends his nights at the tavern, and I've also noticed that he has been going to the soldiers quite a bit lately, probably trying to help them figure this whole thing out. They've been asking a lot of questions about the kobolds.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for your time, ma'am. I appreciate it. I'll let you get back to your work.
Oh, well, thank you, and you have a wonderful time as well.
All right, you
Enjoy
too.
your stay.
I will. I begin to exit the shop, and then I explain to everybody what I just found out.
Okay.
So, at
So,
this point, I think Adeline, yeah, Bill went to go eat real quick. So yeah, at this point, she starts to tinker on that amulet again, putting gems inside of little sockets.
Can I do a perception check to see if? Well, I don't even know what he looks like, do I?
Nope.
Nope.
Crap.
You just know his name.
I just know his name.
Look for a name tag.
Yeah, right. Can I do a
Uh,
perception check to see if anybody's talking about him?
Yeah, you can. Legolas, what do you hear with your elven ears?
This is true. Absolutely nothing. I'm just gonna sit down and shut up for a little bit.
Yeah, so the whole commotion of the trading stalls, you can hear people sort of shouting over prices and saying we need more iron. You can hear people say those carrots aren't for sale. You hear things like that, but you don't hear anything specific to their names.
Got it.
I want to go up to the blacksmith.
All right. So you walk over, and instead of it being just one blacksmith, it's actually two dragonborn making separate things. On the sort of right side, you can see one red dragonborn that is making weapons and is male. And on the left side, you see a green dragonborn who is female making armor.
Well, I first go to the one making armor, and I introduce myself by saying, "Hello, I'd like to see your wares."
So you see this dragonborn doesn't wear what normal blacksmiths wear when they're handling heated metal. She is kind of just handling it and not really too worried about the temperature, and that's probably because she has a little extra resistance to fire. So she is, clanging on a breastplate that she's currently making, and she sort of looks up, and you can see her little sort of like scales kind of glisten as if they were soaked with sweat in a way. And she looks over at you, very curious actually. What does a mage such as yourself need armor?
I just want to see what you deal with. Actually, I really came over here for was to try see if you'd be interested in buying this, and I pull out the ogre mail from my bag.
All right, so you reach into the bag and you sort of shuffle your hand around and then you grasp it, and it takes all of your strength to pull out this big ass piece of metal. And go ahead and make a strength check for me real quick. So you, as it seems weightless inside of the bag, almost as if like imagine holding something really heavy underwater, like it's not as bad. But right as it exits the bag, you sort of get thrown off balance, and it sort of slams into the stall next to you, sending a bunch of cabbage to the floor.
My cabbages!
Hey! And at that point, you can see two dragonborn that are kind of sitting outside of the stalls. One of them has a piece of wheat coming from their mouth. He's like, couple hockey players come up the produce stand the other day.
Oh no!
I'm also kidding. That doesn't happen. I've been wanting to say that all day. Anyway, so yeah, the cabbages go flying all over, and a dragonborn's kind of like, ah! And starts to pick them all up as fast as he can. You didn't do any notable damage to the stall. You just kind of moved all his wares, and the dragonborn born before you that you were talking to starts to giggle at your foolishness. But she looks over, very curious, and then she glances over to the weaponsmith. Ramit, come over here real quick. And you see the red scale dragonborn put down a sword that he was working on and walk on over. What is it, Forseer? Well, look. Huh, that's a big ass hunk of metal. Where did you get something like that?
Picked it up off Troll a little while back.
Troll's wearing armor now? Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually. Huh. Well, it's a little banged up, that's for sure. And they both start to inspect it. As you can see, both sets of eyes, pretty much every other inch of the armor, they can note something else that's wrong with it. As they scale over it, and they're like, well, in its current condition, I don't think anyone would buy this. But luckily, we're blacksmiths, so we could use the iron. Although it's going to take quite a bit of extra effort in order to clean this thing up and get it to where we can reshape it and make it into scrap. So we could buy it from. What do you think, Forseer? I was thinking 75 gold pieces. 75. You know what? I'll do 85.
What if I help you melt it down?
Well, see, it's not just the melting down. If you would look over here, and he points at sort of where like a piece of the leather is attached with rivets on the inside. We have to make sure to carefully extract all of these as to not leave any residue. Leather doesn't really meld well with scrap metal and could actually make it to where it is a lot more of a hindrance than something that's protecting you in the future. So it's a very timely process and it's very careful. So yeah, 85 gold pieces.
Sure, I don't have a use for it.
All right. And you see him sort of reach under his desk and he pulls out a large book, slams it on the thing, starts going towards the back end of it. We're almost about to need a new trading ledger. He starts writing down the terms of the sale as Forseer goes over to one of the lock boxes that's underneath the counter, and she unlocks it and carefully picks out 85 gold pieces. And then closes it up and locks it back. Puts all the gold in the bag and puts it on the table. Pleasure doing business with you.
You as well. And I just head off. Oh, actually, no. I ask around, what do they know about that person?
Myrod?
Mhm.
Myrod?
My rod.
Yeah, Myrod. Well, Myrod is part of the trading clan, such as we, but he's not that good, and it definitely shows, especially after the first trade he did with the kobolds. He cost us quite a bit of money, actually, so we've only recently been able to make up for the loss, and everyone kind of gives him a hard time about it, and I think he's starting to get a lot more frustrated about his positioning in the clan, so other than that, he's just a normal dragonborn such as we. Why do you ask?
Just curious. Looking into the whole traders, there seems to be some issues going on. So.
Well, here's something for you, actually. What does a few adventurers that are not even dragonborn, what business is it of yours?
Oh, just we were told to get gather evidence by the that one lady. What's her name?
Edisat?
Yeah.
Oh, Edisot sent you. Huh. Interesting. She usually does not ask for outsiders to help with her investigations. Are you known for something? Is there a reason why she would ask you?
Uh, no, not exactly.
Well, I guess as long as you're able to figure out who has stolen our wares, then we'll be good to go. But I can go ahead and let you know that a few of the items were stolen from us, actually. One of my shields that I was actually very proud of, and one of his long swords that he was equally as proud of. The craftsmanship that just goes into these pieces, it rage burns within me to know that Pyrith would sink to such low. It's troublesome, sorry.
Did they have any unique markings or any etchings
Oh,
on them?
yes, actually. We always put our brand on there, and it's sort of so she sort of describes the brand and shows you on one of her completed works, and it's a very crafty way of like intertwining the first initial of both their names together. So they brand each of their pieces of gear with this. Not to mention, she tells you that she gets gems from what's her name? From Nifa the Quiet, who is the jeweler that Nishan was talking to, and they typically try to make more ornamental weapons and armor, mainly for looks, but in a pinch, they'll definitely help in a fight.
Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye out for those for you, and
Well,
yeah, I'll
they've
get back to you.
mostly been found already. That is why Pyrith and his family are behind bars. But there are still quite a few pieces here and there that we've noticed have gone missing. Mostly small things that we honestly had no idea were gone until this whole investigation started.
Like what?
Some daggers, a couple gauntlets, things like that, you know.
Okay, and they all have their seal on them?
Say that, yes, they do. We brand everything with our seal. That way we
Okay.
know if it's authentic or not.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to keep an eye out for those.
Why,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
thanks for your help, and
Oh,
thanks for trading with me.
oh, definitely. If you have anything else that you would like to sell, go ahead.
Okay. And as I head out, I go to the cabbage sell person, and
Mm-hmm.
I give him a gold and sorry for troubles.
Oh, feel free to knock over my cabbages anytime. And he's pretty much picked up all his cabbages by now and put them in a nice, like, pyramid stack behind him.
Actually, I'll go tomorrow. I'd like to buy a few cabbages.
Ooh, how many?
About 5.
5? That'll be 1 gold.
Yep. Give him another gold, and I'll get my cabbages.
Okay, so you got 5 cabbages.
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, it is probably about 10 o'clock now, and the trading hub is still quite bustling. Coming from, you can see from the gathering hall, which is number 12, you can see 3 figures that all look somewhat important start to enter the gathering hall.
Lost my headsets.
Your headset's been muted?
No, I lost my. No, it fell off my head.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was trying to reach for something and it was a little farther away than I thought.
I guess I would like to follow these figures.
Yeah. Or just you said they're in front of the building.
Yeah, they've by the time you guys start to head over that way, they enter the gathering hall.
Yeah, let's go to the gathering hall as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys make your way over to the gathering hall, and you open up the doors. And as you do, you can hear 4 people. All right, you see the desk in front of you that Edisot was sitting at yesterday, and there are 4 people around it. One of them being Edisot herself, and they are all arguing and screaming at each other. So the conversation sounds, "No, Gyrum, we will not attack the kobolds. It is stupid, and it is not going to help us in any way." "I don't know what you're talking about. Taking over the kobolds and their civilization would be great for Irisk. Just think about all of the riches that we could have. We could actually fortify our own home. This is a great advantage. Gyrum, please. You know that going into kobold territory is a suicide mission. There's no way that we would get out of it alive." And so they're all kind of... They seem to be arguing over the future of what is going to happen with the town of Irisk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Should we maybe try to offer some kind of deal where we help him out and get Friddrayg free?
I mean, we could. We can go. So what do we see before us? We see 3 figures, and
Well, right now you see 4 people. One
Yep.
of them is Edisot, and the other 3 are all Red Dragonborn as well. And they're all bickering about the future of Irisk. You haven't met these individuals yet, but you guys came in late last night, so that is probably why.
okay. Let's go up and talk to Edisot and see what's going on.
Now, all of you please, I have important business to go with this investigation. It is costing me all of my time, so we will discuss this at the next council meeting tonight. How about that? And as she looks at each one of them, I agree. And just to clarify, there are 2 males and 2 females. So you got Edisot, who is a female, 1 other female, and then 2 male dragonborns. So, yeah, I agree too. And then you can see the gentleman that they called Joram. "This isn't over, Edisot. We will march on the kobolds, mark my words." And he sort of walks away, and then he looks, this gentleman sort of looks at all of you, but he looks at Dravorkin and stops. "How strong are you?"
Well, I've kind of maxed out my strength, so pretty strong.
He says, "Ha, you think you're pretty strong? Well, we should have an arm wrestling match someday."
Someday, why not right now?
"I have important matters to tend to, but, you know what? Hold on." And you see him sort of walk over to one of the doors, and he opens it up. "Shazir, what am I doing later today?" Sir, later today you will be doing nothing, actually. You have dinner planned with the family, and that is about it. Other than, of course, your town or council meeting tonight and the usual training methods and such, you know. Tell my family I won't make it. I've got an important appointment with a half-orc. And he looks back at you, and he says, "Meet me at the tavern tonight, sometime after 7:30.
That sounds good to me, man. I'm down.
And then he looks back into his room and starts to walk in and close the door. And you can hear on the other side, sort of muffled because of the door in between you, "Shazir, do me a favor. Scratch whatever you're doing this morning, and I need you to let everyone know about the arm wrestle match between me and a half-orc today." Sir, is this why we're canceling dinner with your family? You haven't seen them in 3 days. I'm a very important man, and I've got a very important reputation. I need you to do this for me. Don't question. Yes, sir. And you can hear somebody packing up their things inside. What do you need, Splinter? Anyway, after a couple moments, you can see the gentleman known as Shazir walk out, and he is also a red dragonborn. And he, excuse me, but you're in my way, as he looks at you, Dravorkin, big ass.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead, and I let my arm out and point wherever he's trying to go to. Move out the way.
Interesting. And he just walks past you and goes out the door.
Is the door still shut?
Yeah,
Do we still have...
he shut the door behind him, where Joe room is, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Do we still hear the muffling?
No, the voices?
Yeah.
No, he was one of the ones that was talking.
Oh, okay.
And he has since left. So now, before you see Etta side, and she's sort of, she's got her head tilted to the side, and she's sort of rubbing it as if, she's very frustrated and has a headache. Oh, dear. What to do?
What seems to be troubling you, ma'am? Talk to us. Vent, if you will.
Yeah, what was all that all about?
Yeah, what was that? Yeah.
Well, not that it's really any of y'all's business on how things are ran in this town, but I don't see any harm in it. We, Dragonborn, obviously have a Council of Four, and as you just saw, the Council of Four had a surprise meeting at my desk. I don't really appreciate when they do that to me, but whatever. Anyway, lately, Joram has been wanting to send the soldiers into where the kobolds live, at least where we assume they live. We've never actually pinpointed their location. And he wants to take them out, or at least enslave them, to where instead of trading with them, we just take what they have. Obviously, we're all against it, and so far the vote is skewed 3-1, which means it will not go through. But if he were to get his way, then that would mean that we march to war against the kobolds. And we cannot let that happen.
Aren't you like related to the kobolds as Dragonborn?
Not necessarily. In a sense, we are cousins. Somewhat. Very distant cousins. The legends go that Dragonborn came from the eggs of a dragon that somehow were imbued with a humanoid figure, and that is how the first Dragonborn were born. Since then, it has been thought that the Dragonborn actually created the kobolds, but there's no actual evidence that that is true, so we can only assume that they also derive from maybe lesser dragons. Most dragons are great, but not all dragons are great, if you will.
What's your current relationship with them? You just trade, right?
Yes, they are known to live within the Dragonrin Mountains, obviously. They are very capable miners, and we have found some rich veins for iron and gold and such that we would start processing. And as we go deeper and deeper into our mining channels, we find smaller little caves. So we have set people to, stake out these caves to see what, if anything, would emerge. And there you go, kobolds. So we know that they live within the mountains. They probably have an elaborate mining system and tunneling system. But after we found the one, and I don't want to say detained, but that's pretty much what we had to do in order to get them to speak to us, we made it apparent that we were friendly and we wanted to trade with their civilization, and then we have different meeting spots depending on the week, where we bring our wares that we offer for trade and they bring theirs. Mostly things like they give us raw materials and we give them food and different items to help defend themselves.
Aren't they physically inferior to you, like smaller?
Oh yes, definitely they are smaller. And the only one that really believes that they are inferior would be Jobrim. everyone else sees them as kind of, just a imperfect dragonborn.
And why does he think this?
Well, anything smaller than him is puny and weak. And that's probably what he thinks of you, human.
And that's how he got to be the.
That they don't call him Joram the Strong for no reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard, but he has literally never lost an arm wrestling match, and you, half-orc, are gonna have quite the challenge.
Oh yeah?
hmm.
I would start doing push-ups, buddy.
I don't need to do push-ups.
Okay.
Alright, so,
I do a one-handed standing push-up.
Do a
like
strength
with my
check.
feet up.
Come on, natural 20.
1.
Dude.
Did it go? Oh,
Yeah.
Did
there you
not,
go.
no.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Almost a natural 20. But, so you sort of get down on, you start doing regular push-ups, and then as you come down close to the ground, you kick your feet up, and you start doing push-ups like that, and Edisot sort of looks over her desk. What on earth? And then you start doing, and then you go to one hand, and you're like, look, I'm holding the world up.
See ya. Or he's a big boy. He's pretty strong.
Yep.
Well, yes, but are you able to do that with just your breath?
What?
I don't need to.
Well, Joram can actually do a single push-up with just his breath. It's quite the sight.
Wow, he must have never smoked a cigarette in his life.
Well, us Dragonborn don't need cigarettes.
Oh.
I'm also kidding,
Yeah.
cigarettes haven't been discovered yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, obviously you've come here for something besides wanting to sit in on the banter between the council. How can I help you today?
Well, you go. You go.
Yeah, I was just okay. So I heard information about Myrid, and I was just wondering, we really haven't gotten a physical description of him because I would just like to sit down and talk with him, if that's okay. So you wouldn't happen to know what he would look like?
Well, I know what everyone looks like. I'm the law master, and if I
Fair
did not
enough.
do my job, then I would not be the law master.
Fair
Myrid
enough.
is a red dragonborn. He's a little
course.
smaller than your average dragonborn, and he's also missing his left horn.
Interesting.
I don't remember what exactly happened, but he's very sensitive about it. This might make it why he's so rash in his decisions, because he feels he has something to prove, so he just wants to get things done, and he's not... let's just say he's not the most intelligent being. But yes, red scales, most Dragonborn, so that won't help
Right.
you, but look for a Dragonborn that's missing his left horn.
That should be easy to point out. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I
Anything
needed.
else?
Jeff?
Not really. Just curious. There's a ban on selling items in the town currently.
Yes. Due to the recent thievery, I have decided that it is best not to let anybody sell their high-stakes items. And the reason is because I'm not sure if whoever it actually is thieving is doing it during the day or night. So, just to be safe, no high-stakes items can be sold until the investigation closes.
Okay. Okay.
Once that happens, don't worry, there's plenty of items for you to buy.
Okay. Alright, I'm done here, if you guys are.
What time is the council meeting, and what do we need to do if would like to attend?
Oh, you want to come on to our council meeting? Interesting of outsiders to be caught up in the bickering of old Dragonborn, but if you must come, it will be sometime around 8:30.
Okay.
Where is the location?
Right here in this very hall.
Okay.
So, I guess we will see you tonight at the council meeting. It is obviously open to the public, and we don't like to keep things hidden from our people, and I guess, you have a
And
right, as being travelers, to know what our laws are, so you can understand maybe what we are planning on doing for the future.
I kinda like
and
that.
one more thing with the kobolds. What's your stance on them?
Oh, the kobolds are a necessity for Irisk. If we did not have the kobolds, then we would have died out long ago. The mines that we have created were not very yielding of the materials that we require, especially the iron and steel that we need to make our weapons to defend ourselves. But luckily, once we found the kobolds, they have a plethora of these minerals. Not sure where, and that might be what Jorim wants to find out, but I'm perfectly okay with taking whatever we find and trading it to them in order to get the riches that we require in order to survive. So, in short, the kobolds are necessary for the growth of Irisk.
Okay. And what do the other two members think about them, or do you not know what their opinions are?
Well, I know that Simoth the Fierce is the leader of the merchants, so she is the one that regulates the trade between them. Obviously, she is for it, otherwise she wouldn't trade with them. So she sees them as a necessity. And Berniri, I think he could really go either way, but he doesn't have an issue with kobolds, if that is what you're asking. So that is how he has voted in the past against Jorim, and that is why we have never gone to war with the kobolds, and we have continued our trading relationship.
The merchant leader, what's her name again?
Simoth.
Simoth. Where can I find her most times of the day?
Well, right now she is in her office over there, and she points to the left.
Okay. One final thing. Have you ever heard of any legends about a red dragon under the mountains, or a large dragon under the mountains?
Well, of course, we're the ones that created those legends. At least our ancestors did. If you notice, most dragonborn in this here city are actually red dragonborn. And the reason is because the red dragon that is said to still roam these mountains was a red dragon. So, we all derive from dragons themselves, so that is most likely our greatest ancestor and the reason the dragonborn even came in existence in this world.
Have you ever found any of these ancestors, or
No,
is there?
unfortunately not. It has been quite some time since anyone has ever spotted a dragon and at least lived to tell the tale. But there are recordings from earlier in the day, way back when, couple hundred years ago, when someone thought they saw a red dragon flying, but it was a very cloudy day, so they might have been just seeing figures in the clouds.
Okay. Is there a library or any recorded history we can look at when you are in town?
Well, the only thing I could think of would probably be, and she sort of thinks, if you wanted, I know that really only a few folks claim that there is some sort of higher being out there besides the dragons, and that would be Zyrag.
Zareg.
Zareg the Calm. He is the minister of the church, but only him and one of Pyrrhus' younger ones, the daughter, I believe. Only those two believe in the divine. Other than that, the rest of us aren't very religious, and we believe that our well-being and our creation come from the red dragon.
And who's Pyrrhus again?
Say what?
Who's Pyrrhus again? Pyrrhus? You said only
Pyrrhus?
the Yeah, Pyrath. Who's that again?
Pyrath is the one behind bars right now. Friddrayg's dead.
Okay, okay. And can you point us in the direction of the temple?
Well, Friddrayg, since he doesn't have enough followers, he actually worships in his house. And he
Oh.
lives off where the rest of the citizens live. So you could probably find it pretty easily, but he lives sort of in the back portion of the houses. She kind of tells you a rough way of getting there. Take a left
Yeah.
here. When you see the piss pot, take a right, and then he lives on the second floor.
Okay. Well, thank you. We're going to take a walk over to Simoth's office and talk to her.
All right. If you need any
Awesome.
more help with this, or if you have any more questions about the investigation, since you are helping me with it, please ask.
Is there a deadline currently?
Say what?
Is there a deadline?
A dead mine?
Deadline for the investigation to end?
Well, obviously, the sooner the better, and if we are not able to find substantial evidence to prove Pyrath and his family's innocence, we will probably have to sentence him within a week.
Okay. Well, we'll do our best. Thank you.
Thank you. And she goes back to scribbling on pieces of parchment.
Okay. I have nothing else with this lady. I was going to go talk with Simoth, or Simoth, whatever her name is.
Simoth.
Simoth.
I guess I could. I could probably try to find the dude that she was talking about.
Myrid?
Not my. Yeah, yeah. I can try to find Myrid.
Alright, so you exit then and go to look for him?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the merchant shops and see if I can see him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Sure thing. There we go.
So it'll take you about 10 minutes of looking around in order to spot him. And in that time, that is when the rest of the group that is inside will be talking to Simoth.
Okay.
So, are y'all talking to Simoth?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go knock on her door.
Knock. Come in.
I open the door up and come on in. Is Nishan coming with me?
No, Nishan's at the trading post. The only people that would come with you would be Dravorkin, because Adeline's walking around.
Okay. Dravorkin and I enter. I enter at least. And say hello. I forget the other lady's name.
The name's Simoth, the Fierce.
No, the other one. The
Edisot?
Edisot. Yeah, Edisot told us you'd be around here, and we'd like to ask you a few questions. We're helping you with an investigation. My name is Hief, and this is Dravorkin.
Interesting that Edisot would ask for the aid of outsiders, but I guess, the lawmaker makes the laws themselves, so... And you can hear Edisot sort of scoff in the background. He's just kidding, dear. Anyway, yes, come on in. Close the door. Have a seat.
Okay. We close the door and take a seat. So, Simoth the Fierce,
That is
you're
my
you're in charge of the merchant guild, right? The
clan.
merchant clan.
Yes. So I pretty much get all the ledgers of daily trades, and I figure out how much the town of Irisk needs in order for upkeep and for future expansions and such. You could think of that as a tax, because that is exactly what it is.
Okay.
So, I'm the one that is responsible for making sure that the finances are taken care of in Irisk, which so far they are. Unless Joram gets his way, and then we might see darker days yet. But anyway, and she she sort of puts her elbows and her arms in front of her. What is it that you could offer us in our town of Irisk?
Well, we have come here. What we can offer you is we have connections with Siege, if you know that name.
Siege, I do know him. He's the elf, isn't he? And he,
Is he?
yes, he is an elf.
He's a half elf. Half elf?
No, he's a, yeah, he is a half elf.
Okay. Yes, we're on very good normal terms with him, and he's looking to expand wherever he can as well. And I can't imagine him trying to pass up a trade offer. So.
Oh, you think he would be interested in trading with us, Dragonborn?
Potentially, yes.
Interesting. I guess we would have to figure out what exactly he has to offer, and then what he is looking for, and then we could make terms that way. But any trade is welcome within Irisk.
Okay.
So, if you want to tell him to send a emissary of sorts over with a list of things that he can produce on the regular, we do not make trade agreements for short-term trades. That is something that all the traders do themselves. But as a town collective, if we have long-term dealings, that is when I, well, used to send Pyrith to deal with those types of trades. But seems we're quite in a bind here.
Speaking of Pyrith, what was your opinion on him?
Pyrith is the most, well, besides myself, well-suited trader that we have ever seen in our clan. He's also very intelligent, and he's very fair, very trustworthy. So the fact that these allegations are even assumed baffles me. There's no way that him and his noble house, well, I guess he's not technically noble, no one's noble in Irisk, but there's no way that their family did this. So it definitely had to be some sort of setup, or somehow Edisat mistakenly misjudged him.
And the third person in mind, keep forgetting the names.
Myrid?
Myrid, yes, Myrid. What's your opinion on Myrid?
Well, Myrid, he means well, but he is definitely on my lower chain of who I want to deal with the trades. Unfortunately, I do not get to make those calls all the time, for it is a council decision on who does the trading for the town. And we have been sort of having Myrid accompany, what is his name? I forgot the name too just now.
Pyrith?
Yeah, Pyrith. There's so many
Yeah,
goddamn
right?
names that he made. But anyway, Myrid is been sort of under Pyrith's wing in learning how to trade effectively for the betterment of Irisk. Since his failure in the first session of trades with the Kobolds, he's kind of been frustrated at his lackluster trading ability. But
Okay.
I hope that one day he figures out what he needs to do in order to better himself. But he is a Dragonborn, so he has my respect until he loses it.
What was the relationship between Pyrith and Myrid?
Well, they've always kind of butted heads, if you will, only because Myrid thinks that trading should be done in a particular fashion, and Pyrith tells him that that is not the way of things, and it would never work. And then, of course, Myrid, being in charge of his first kobold trade, went with his ideals and realized that they indeed do not work. So, Pyrith has been trying to, I guess, change his way of thinking, but Myrid is kind of a hardhead and doesn't want to change himself or the way he does things. So, they're not on the friendliest of terms. They respect each other, but you can definitely tell that Myrid just wants to prove to Pyrith that he is correct and will do whatever it takes to do so. So they're not friends, but they're not enemies. So I guess frenemies?
Frenemies. Okay. Do you think Myrid would do something rash against Pyrith?
Well, And she sort of takes back and looks around. I never really thought of that. In all honesty, with Pyrith behind bars, Myrid would be able. Actually, he would be the main trader with the kobolds. But I don't see why he would go to such dastardly methods in order to rise into the ranks of the clan when all he really needs to do is prove his abilities, and I can make sure that he is rewarded accordingly. But it's definitely something that could happen. I hate to think that one of us Dragonborn would stoop to such low levels.
How exactly did the trade deal go down between how the trade deal with Myrid and the kobolds go bad happened?
For the sake of not telling you everything about our town, let's just say that we traded a lot and got a little.
Okay. And who went on this mission?
It was just
Just
Pyrith and Myrid.
and how long ago was this?
Oh, this was years ago.
Okay. And who's been doing the recent trading with the kobolds?
Pyrith has. He's been in charge of all trades with kobolds with Myrid at his side, but Myrid only gets to voice his opinions on what prices should be and how much of certain items should be traded, but Pyrith makes the final call.
And okay. And what's your opinion on Jared? What's his name?
Joram?
Joram.
Joram is a fool. He may be Joram the Strong, but he's not strong in the head, if you will. All he does is think with his sword. And he wants to take over the kobolds, which financially would make us richer, but at what cost? How many of us would fall in that type of battle? I do not know if you know about kobolds, but they pretty much stick to their caves. And inside of their caves, there's no telling what types of trickery they have. There's probably plenty of pitfalls within their mine shafts. And also, I believe, since they are so small, they probably make them very tight. So, for us to go marching into their territory would be a suicide mission.
Have you ever met him before?
Met a kobold?
Or gone on those trading missions?
Oh, yes, I went on the very first couple, but I guess I'm a little too intimidating for the little creatures. They do call me Simoth the Fierce, after all.
What do they prefer in their trade deals? Like, what's the preferred approach with kobolds?
A nice, calm and collected, and you don't want to act like you're too strong or too large. So, if you puff out your chest and make your shoulders look wide, like your half-orc friend there, you might intimidate them to where they are too scared of you for fear of losing their life. But if you come with a soft voice and a somewhat timid approach, they are more receiving.
Okay. Well, what else? Let's change subjects. Tonight, the council meeting is happening.
Yes.
What else do you guys talk about besides the kobolds?
We talk about all manner of things. Should we think about expanding Iris? How many children are we fostering so far? All sorts of manners. Are there any civilizations that are encroaching on our territory? Are there any rivals that would be seeking to harm us? Are our defenses strong? You know, all manners of things.
Okay. Any news of goblins around the area?
Goblins? You know, I do believe Joram said, or not Joram, I do believe that Berniri said that his pack of hunters did see smaller humanoid-looking figures running around the northern portion of Dragonspire Mountains, or Dragonren Mountains. But he wasn't very descriptive. I don't think they got a very good look, but he saw a couple, and it looked as if they were themselves scouting out the area.
Okay. Is there any dangers native to the Dragonren Mountains?
Oh, plenty of creatures live within the mountains, and there's also plenty of steep drop-offs that I don't think any of you would survive if you fell down.
Okay. Um, do you think Pyrith is innocent?
Well, and she sort of leans in closer and starts to lower her voice a little bit. I know he's innocent. I just can't prove it. Pyrith would never need to go to such extremes for any reason because he is so notorious within the town. So, for him to act out in such a way, there is no reason. He has done no wrong by nobody, and nobody has done any wrong by him. So, it just baffles me that this has been pinned on his head.
And do you know who initially did that? Who made that claim?
The claim that he did it?
Yes, or the Friddrayg's family or Friddrayg or Pyrith, yeah.
Well, I mean, the items that were stolen within the past few weeks were found inside of their house, so that inside of their own storage boxes for safekeeping. So, obviously, that is being caught red-handed, but I believe they were planted.
What does a Dragonborn house like look like? What is it made of?
Normally our houses look, think of a nest in a way, how it's sort of circular, but take out all the branches and shrubbery and stuff like that. We usually live in little round houses, and in the center there is usually a stove or something like that that we use to keep a fire going to cook our meals. Luckily for us red dragonborn, we can pretty much use our breath to heat ourselves up, but we like things warm, so we keep a nice furnace in the middle.
Do the
And
dragon? No, go on.
no, you can continue.
Do Dragonborn differ like red is fire, yellow is electricity, and
Yes.
etc.? Okay.
Well, not yellow. Yellow, I think. Yellow and orange are also fire. It's actually in the player's handbook.
Okay.
But yeah, each different color has a different. So black is acid, blue is lightning, brass is fire, bronze is lightning, copper is acid, gold is fire, green is poison, red is fire, silver and white are cold. But there are no silver and white. No silver and
Dragonborn.
white dragonborn in this town.
Okay. Why do only do only red Dragonborn live here?
Oh no, we have quite a few different colors. The way I believe it works is there's always a chance for a. So, when two Dragonborn mate, she starts going through the birds and the bees of how Dragonborns get it on. But
Oh yeah.
the jiffy of it all is typically in this area, the presence of red dragon, or the fact that there is a presence of a red dragon, increases the chances of a red dragonborn being born. So other colors can be born, and that just means that there is the presence of that color dragonborn elsewhere in the world, and their presence kind of reaches from afar, but it's very rare. So probably when a blue dragonborn is born, there is a blue dragon in the area, and then it leaves shortly after, probably. But there has also been no spottings of dragons for quite some time. So they're thought to be extinct, but no one really knows.
Okay. Who would? Okay. So you think it's someone planted items into the Friddrayg's household?
Oh yes, definitely. There's no doubt about that, especially because Pyrith is such good friends with all of the traders, and there's no reason that a friend would backstab a friend as such for his own personal gain.
Okay. Well, we're trying to free Friddrayg and Pyrith, that clan. Is there anything you could tell us that could help us in our endeavors?
Well, and she thinks for a moment, and she's like, really, the only other thing I could think of is to see if anybody is seen around the trade stalls when they're not supposed to, and maybe at Pirate's own home. But I'm not one to deal in investigations. I deal with coin, so it is not my strong suit. And I'm almost certain that Edisod is already on top of that, for a monkey could think of that.
Okay.
By the way, Bill, you do have a monkey.
Oh yeah, you do.
I do.
Yes.
You do.
When
Cool.
you guys killed the ogres, the gypsy lady took a monkey out of her bag and handed it to you guys. I had you all roll animal handling, or
You got the
animal
highest.
handling, and you got the highest roll. So the monkey was naturally accustomed to coming to you. So, for the sake
What does
of,
the monkey do?
he's just a little monkey pet. You can try to talk to him, but he doesn't really understand you. He's not intelligent like your boar is. But
Gotcha.
over time, you might be able to like point at things and make him go places and do things.
Nice.
You just have to kind of train him first.
Yeah,
How to
cool. I'm
train
up
your
for that.
monkey.
How to train your monkey
Okay.
with
Well-
my rod.
So before we leave, is there any way that you'd be okay with the kobolds and dragonborn going to war? Or
Absolutely not. And she slams her fist on
Just
the
curious.
table. The kobolds are a necessity to Irisk, and the fact that Joe Rim would even think about taking them over is just beyond me.
would the warrior clan just leave without the council's permission? Could they even do that?
Oh no, there would be severe consequences if Joe Rim were to go against the council. There are, well, I'm not going to tell you exactly what, but there are, what's the word I'm looking for?
Ethics or
Oh yeah,
law?
there's a code of ethics, but pretty much something that you do to ensure that something doesn't happen. That's the word I'm looking for, but I don't fucking know what the word is. I'll look it
Maybe
up.
protocols?
Yeah, well, there's protocols for stuff. Fuck, dude, I can't.
when you serve someone else, like ultimatum? No.
Not stipulations. There's something in place to avoid that happening.
Okay.
And the something is the word that I would change.
Okay.
I can't remember what the word is right now because I'm an idiot. So, but anyway, yeah, there are we'll just say there are protocols in place where if the clans try to go against the council's ruling in favor of their own council leader, severe punishment will be rained down upon them. And even though, and even though they are the soldiers, the law or the order would make sure everyone is kept in their place because that is what the order is known for. They have specialized training to make sure no one diverges from the council's rule.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go off and try to get more information. Thank you for everything you told us so far.
Oh, no problem. And y'all have a good one.
Oh, one more thing. Is there anyone, since you know about trade, that sells magic or scrolls or anything like of the like?
Us Dragonborn are not usually the arcane type, so unfortunately I do not know, but maybe some of the traders have higher priced items that they cannot sell right now because of Edisot. But we do have a fair bit of traders coming to and from Irisk, so I'm sure someone does have something. They just can't sell it to you right now.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No problem. And good luck.
Thanks again. We head out.
Okay. At this point, Nishan, you are successful in seeing Myrid.
Where are
And
we at?
You,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you are at the trading area, and you're looking around, and you can see Myrid sort of talking to different various traders. He mostly talks to the produce and like the bread maker.
Mm-hmm.
So he's looking around like at the edible items. He hasn't really gone towards the, like, you kept an eye on him for a little while, and he doesn't really go towards the jeweler, the blacksmiths, or anybody that sells like items that are not edible.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Um, I don't want to go up and talk to him. That's for sure. Can I tail him and see where he goes?
Yeah, definitely. And since it's a crowded area, uh, he wouldn't actually. Yeah, he wouldn't notice that you're doing this as long as you're making it look like you're interested in buying stuff.
Yeah.
But go ahead and make a perception check to see if you can hear him talk.
Sure.
Okay, so he's currently talking to the bread maker, and you're kind of like looking around at some of the various produce, like tomatoes and stuff like that, thinking to yourself, this stuff looks like shit compared to elven agriculture.
Exactly.
But you're looking at it, and you kind of got a look of disgust on your face, and the produce, they sense that you're not happy with their items, so they're trying to show you more like their better stuff that they kind of keep behind the thing. But you keep trying to be like, shut the fuck up, try and do this. But essentially you hear, it's all coming into place now. And the bread maker looks at Myrid and goes, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I got some ham, and then I got some cheese, and now I'm about to get bread. I'm about to make the greatest sandwich ever. And
Oh my gosh.
the bread maker kind of looks at him and goes, oh, okay. He's like, this is a celebratory sandwich. It's not just any sandwich. It's a celebratory sandwich. With Pyrith behind bars, I will finally get my rightful place in my clan. And I'm very excited to see this. Very excited indeed. For now I will be able to say how we trade with the kobolds. Yes, it's all coming into place now. Anyway, I would like, and he starts to talk about a trade. But at this point, you've overheard him sort of boasting about he's going to rise up in the clan because Pyrith is behind bars.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna just go ahead and put down my produce. Just look at the seller. And just like I shake my head at him, and I walk away.
All right. So as you do that, he sort of starts to gather the produce and starts to try to make the tomatoes look shiny. But you can tell that he's not doing a very good job.
Yeah, no, not at all. What time is it right now?
It's probably about midday.
Midday. Okay. Let me go back to the jeweler, but I want to walk in like very quietly so I don't disturb her because I'm pretty sure she's like, let me do this. Let me look into the window and see if she's still working on that amulet.
Well, there's no like you. It's
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
it's a
an
tent,
outside.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a. But yeah, you walk over and she is sort of admiring the amulet as of right now. She's not really tinkering with it. It almost looks as if she's trying to figure out where she can put another jewel.
I go up and ask her, I was like, so how is the amulet coming?
Well, look at it yourself. And she sort of points it or puts it closer to you. And there's probably about 12 different gems of different colors inside of it.
Nice.
Isn't it so?
Yes. Are any of these magical or just no?
No. Only that ruby that I showed you is what I currently have on me.
Okay. I feel like I look over the amulet and I'm like, you know what would make this even better if you put a jewel like, and I point out a place on the on it that you should put a jewel like right there. It'll make it perfect.
And she sort of looks and tilts her head back and forth and looks at it from different angles, and she's like, that is right. And she starts to click down on her magnifying glasses. And she says, oh, I guess before I get to work, is there something I can help you with?
Yes, that trade that we were working on earlier.
Oh.
I do happen to have a pearl, maybe, and a coral that would you be interested in trading with to knock down that price?
Hmm. Let me see them real quick.
Sure. I grab the coral and the pearl, and I hand it over to her.
All right, and then these are the ones that are worth 100 gold each, right?
Right.
Okay, so she looks them over. Hmm. If you did give me these, I could probably drop it down to 625 gold.
625.
Yes.
I could do that. I can definitely do that for sure.
So do you then?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Alrighty. 1 second, and she sort of bends down, and you can hear the clicking of a lockbox, and she starts to rummage with some stones, and she pulls them out. So she's going to be giving you a couple different stones. Are you ready for them? To write
Right.
them down?
Yeah. Go.
All right, so she gives you an amethyst, which and all of these are roughly 100 gold pieces each. A jet, and a garnet, as well as the ruby item, which I will.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
All right. I'll put on your character sheet what the description of the item is, and I'll put it under your. I'll put it under your features and traits as a new item, so
Okay.
that way you can see it. And then go ahead and I think because you're messing with it, I can't. You go ahead and finish. I'll finish it later.
It says 625.
Yeah, 625.
Okay. Let me do math real quick. All right. So I'm gonna go. What are the other guys doing right now?
Jeffrey is using the bathroom. Adeline and Dravorkin, I don't know. Pretty sure I assume Dravorkin's been following Jiff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Adeline's still been just walking around, right?
Yep, observing, seeing when I can pull in.
Gotcha.
Okay. I use my moonstone, or which one is it, moonstone or
Sending
sending
stone.
stone? Yeah, my sending stone to like dude, I tell them in my head, I was like, dude, my rod did it for sure. He was just boasting about it to the produce. It was oddly enough though that he was just looking at produce this entire time and nothing to do with armor or anything, like just basically edible stuff is what he's looking at mostly. And I send that information off to those guys.
Okay.
Received. In my head.
And I pretty much
You're done with the jeweler?
I'm done with the jeweler, yeah.
All right, so she gives you those stones. She takes the coin and she empties it into her lockbox, and she says, "Pleasure doing business. I'm gonna put that stone in here now." And she puts down her magnifying glasses down to a very fine point, and she starts to chisel away to make a new slot for this stone.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a good day, man. Hey, if you don't mind, if you happen to have any more magical items come in to your shop, if you see me walking around, feel free to flag me down and let me know, and I'll be more than happy to take it off your hands
Oh,
if need be.
will do.
Thank you.
Bye
And then
bye.
bye. And then I start walking around looking for the guys.
Looking for your guys, your
Yeah,
crew.
yeah. I'm looking for Yif
All right.
and Dvorkin.
Cool. All right. So as you're walking around, it takes a couple minutes just because there's such a big crowd, but you can see your compatriots because they kind of stand out in a crowd of Dragonborn.
Yeah, a little bit.
There are a couple other races around, but there's very few and far between. So you're able to spot them with relative ease, and yeah, I guess you flagged them down.
No, I'm just gonna walk up to him. I don't want to like, make us. I don't want to. Well, yeah. Let me flag him down. I start waving my hand, like, "Hey guys," and kind of like motioning them towards me.
Okay, so you do such, and they're all able to see you do this, Well, how does everyone react?
I'll approach just about immediately because I'm, watching everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it would make sense to just be like, oh, hey, look, he's waving at me.
All right. So, you all gather around together.
Okay, so, all right, guys, what's the game plan here? What's gonna be our next step in this investigation? I would
While you
assume.
guys talk that over, I'm gonna use the bathroom as well. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Alright.
it seems that here they're guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah,
So we
Yeah.
need proof,
we do
simply
need.
put.
Yeah, we do. We need to
Have
find
we
those
got-
items. We
Yeah,
need
I
to
was
find
about
those
to say,
items.
do we have any lead about who could potentially be the one that stole it in the first place?
No.
I don't think it's
Well,
gotta-
besides, yeah. So go on.
Yeah, no, well, no, that's what I'm thinking. Is like it's got to be. I mean, it's Myrod. Myrod did it. We just need to find. We need to find what he did with those items.
Yeah, because you told us you heard him saying
It's
yeah,
all
at
coming.
least yeah, all coming together. His
Yeah.
victory sandwich, something
Yeah.
something something.
Yeah, exactly. So,
um, I guess we need to keep a closer eye on him and perhaps search the house, Pirate's house.
yeah. Yeah, we
Uh,
can
n-
probably.
Not me. I suck at sneaking.
I mean, we all kind of do.
Yeah,
I
we
do.
do.
I'll be watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said we attend that council meeting later on.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have time. I think. Should we put a tail on Myrod? I forgot how we were saying his other name, but I mean like do we
Myrid?
put Myrid? Do we
Maybe.
put a
Yeah,
do we put a tail on Myrid?
All right, I'm back.
I say we do.
I could be that. I've been wandering around all day. It wouldn't look
Yeah, we could
suspicious
trade
at all.
yeah, we could trade out. So the last time I saw him he was in the produce. So he could still be there looking for food items and such. And then I guess what we could do is go to I forgot the dude's name now.
Joram?
Not Joe Room.
Well, I think we should talk to Joe as well. Just
you think we
yeah.
should?
Because with the four council members, there is the one that starts in the A, or
Edisot?
Edisot. There's Samos,
Simoth?
Simus. Then there's Gojum, and who's the last one?
Joram, and then Bernier?
And who's Berdiri?
He's the
What do
leader
they
of the
do?
hunters, so he's the one that's goes off out of the town with his group, and they bring back like deer meat and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, we need to talk to Berneri and Gojum.
Just to
Joe
see
as
what
well.
their stance, to see where they're
Yes, and see if they have anything else.
Okay.
Also, Brady, where are we right now exactly?
I assume that you guys sort of stepped out of where the trading posts are so that you could gather around and talk in semi-quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're standing
That
right
definitely
outside.
happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys are standing like in the middle of like the town circle ish, like just out in the open where there's people coming and going from the trade shops.
Right.
Okay. Just curious. Yeah. So, do we want to split up and get this done faster?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is we should split up, put a tail on. I just want to keep calling him Myra.
Just call him Myrod. That's fine.
Yeah,
Sure,
that's
yeah.
We know who you're talking about.
Yeah, let's just put a tail on Myrod, and then let's go talk to the council members and see what's up with them.
Okay, so who's tailing Myrid?
That'll be Adolin, just because he's already been meandering all day and it won't be suspicious in any way.
Cool. Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Sure thing.
Okay. And then who's going elsewhere?
I think the rest of us are gonna go talk to the council members.
Yeah. Let's go to the hunters first.
Yeah.
All right. So, Adeline takes about 20-ish minutes to find Myrid. He has moved from the bread maker and is now currently talking to the fruit vendor trying to get a banana. But it takes about 25 minutes for that to happen. The rest of you, do you go back to the council chamber, the gathering hall?
Well, we don't know where the other two are at, so I guess we go back to talk to Edelin, wherever her name is,
Edisot?
and ask
Edisot,
Edisot, yeah,
yeah,
Edisot.
Edisot.
Okay.
Ask her where the other two would be right now.
All right, so you go in, talk to Edisot, and she says, well, Simoth is in that office over there. Joram is in that office. And Berniri, actually, if you go towards where you entered, he has a small little outpost near the river where he usually sits. And
Okay.
that's where he decides what hunting route they take and how much game they need to bring back within their adventures or whatever.
Okay. Do we have permission to go to a pirate's house and investigate?
Might as well, if you would like. The door's actually unlocked because all of the valuables that are worth anything have been taken. Everything else in there is pretty much heirlooms, but Dragonborn are not the thieving type, so I trust the town has not muddled in his things.
Okay.
And I know exactly where everything was and what was there, so don't get any ideas or you will be thrown in jail as well.
One drink that Drag wouldn't be happy either. Okay.
Seems like we're probably not going to find anything, though, if she knows where everything is.
Yeah. Maybe magic or tampering or something that they didn't see, but I guess I still think it's worth the look.
Yeah, we got it.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes.
So since Joe Godum is
Joram.
right here,
Mhm.
Joe, should we just talk? Yeah, let's go talk to him.
Okay. So you'll knock on his door. What is it?
We'd like to speak with you.
Shazir, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Shazir is a red dragonborn that seems to be his right-hand man and keeps track of where he should be at all times. He starts flipping through a notebook. So right now it's supposed to be lunchtime. Actually, lunchtime was 30 minutes ago. Well, I haven't eaten yet. Why didn't you tell me? Sir, you were in the middle of preparing for your arm wrestling match by lathering up your scales with oil. Yes. Very crucial. And you can see him start to flex. And he's actually a very muscular dragonborn. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I guess I can go get lunch after this. We'll just have to push back whatever's next. How can I help you?
We'd like to get your view on Pyrith and what's your view or opinion on Pyrith?
Pyrith is a good dragonborn, but he's not a smart dragonborn by my book. The man wants to trade with the kobolds when we could just take everything from them. We definitely have the military might to take them out. Or enslave them to do our own bidding for us, and then we have everything to gain with nothing to lose. But Pyrith does not seem that way. He would rather trade with these creatures and make it fair, and whatever reasons else are his own, but he's an idiot.
What about
The rest of them? Idiots.
Myrid? What about Myrid?
Myrid? Well, he means well. He's not as good of a trader as Pyrith is, obviously, but I guess, he just wants to be known for something. And obviously he's in the trader clan, so he wants to be known as making good trades with the kobolds. But for some reason, he doesn't want to see them enslaved either. So he is also an idiot.
What would you do? How would you go about the kobold situation?
That is for me and my tactician to discuss, not for you to know.
Okay. So everyone else in the town is idiots because they won't fight the kobolds.
Oh no, definitely not. Actually, some of the hunters agree with me, and pretty much most of my soldiers all back me in all my decisions. So, They have voiced their concerns, and I have put them to rest with the help of Shazir here. And we definitely have a plan that we could take them out easily, even with all of their traps and whatever things that they have inside of their caves.
Okay.
But so
You guys-
far, it is just the law, the order, and the merchants that oppose me.
Okay. You guys have any other questions? I don't. Anything else?
Well, I'm not there, but
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good.
okay.
man, he
Um,
seems violent.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Javorkin will enjoy. We'll look forward to your arm wrestling match this evening. Till then, take care.
As you leave, he looks at Dravorkin. He's like, "Make sure you bring about 20 gold with you, Dravorkin.
Why's that?
You're gonna need it when I break the table, beating you in this arm wrestling match."
Oh, okay, you're that guy. I got you.
Okay. Yeah, then we head out.
Yeah, going to the hunter, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Go look for the hunter. He's outside, right? Outside of the.
Yeah. So
town.
he's over where this ping is. Actually,
Okay.
I like doing this better. This little hut
Okay.
right here. That's kind of
Okay.
where he and his hunters, like that's where their armory, I guess, is where you could say, and they have like a skinning racks and tanning racks all around this sort of area, as well as wheelbarrows where they sort of haul the meats off to the mines to preserve it, since it's nice and cool in there.
Nishan, can you post your absorb elements real fast?
What's up? I'm sorry.
Can you post your absorb elements real fast?
Yeah, sure. Stand by.
Did I not update your sheet with the info?
No, you did. You did, but it just says it acts like it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, this is gonna sound strange, but I want you to hit me.
Yeah. So the only thing about your orb, by the way, when I said it acts like it, you don't get the little melee attack thing. All you do
Yeah.
is you get half the damage from whatever you absorb.
Okay. I want you to use your lowest damaging cantrip on me, and I hold up the orb. And you're like, what?
Are you sure about this? Do you
Yes.
really? Okay, hold on. Let me look.
Yeah. Cast fire or whatever you're gonna cast on them.
All right, I'm going to cast. Is it firebolt? That's 2d10. Acid splash. That's
Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna do this.
2d6. Yeah, that's gonna be acid splash.
Mage armor.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So now your AC is, let's see, 13. What's your dex? 2? Or is
Yeah.
it 1?
It is.
It's 1. So your AC
1.
is 14.
Okay. I'm
Alright.
ready.
All
There
right,
we go.
acid splash is coming at your face.
Alright, so make a dexterity save, Jiff.
Quick text. Come on.
You just have to click dex.
No, yeah, but the thing goes. No, there it goes. The first
So
one.
a 5.
It always pops up behind the screen. I have to like pull it out. Pull it out.
Yeah, so you see Dan over here, and he puts his fist or his open palm in front of you, and you see acid sprout from his fingers heading towards you. You try to sort of dip out of the way and put your orb in front of it, but that doesn't happen exactly as you planned, and instead it sort of splashes on you. You'll take 3 damage because the orb gets doused with a little bit, and you can see it sort of take in about half of the acid and absorb it.
Okay. Again with something else. Not acid splash this time.
Okay, all right. Firebolt.
All right, cast your firebolt. All right, so You cast your firebolt, and Jeff sort of steps out of the way and puts the orb in its way, and the orb will absorb the firebolt, and Jeff, you'll take no damage.
Okay.
So that'll be
Oh,
your
neat.
2 uses of the orb for today.
Mm-hmm.
And then just make sure you don't have to say what type of magic is used. Just say how many absorptions you get. Or, yeah, keep tally of how many times you've absorbed things.
Okay.
Okay. So as you guys approach where the hunters sort of hang out and stuff, you see quite a few Dragonborn all geared up, and it looks as if they're about to leave the town. There's probably about 40 of them in total. Most of them have crossbows, some of them have longbows, and then there's just a few of them that look like they don't really belong to the hunters, probably the soldiers, and they're meant to help in any like melee excursions that may happen on the trip.
Okay. Well, we slowly approach.
Okay. As you approach, they kind of all look at you. Do you have any business here, human?
Yes, we have come from. I don't remember her name. Edisot, and we'd like to speak with the
Berneri?
Berneri, yes.
Berneri. He might be tied up. We're about to head out on a hunt, but he's in that shack over there. Just go give him a knock.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And we'll head over to the shack.
All right. And as you approach the shack, the door opens and you see a red dragonborn come out, but he's got splotches of green all over his scales, paint, as a type of camouflage. So he walks out and he has a loaded hand crossbow in both hands, and he sort of puts them, sort of like a cowboy, I guess, would on a holster on his belt. And he looks at you. Yes, can I help you?
Yes, Edisot sent us. We need to talk to you about a few things that have been happening in town.
Ah, yes, go ahead. But if you could make it quick, we're about to go and on a hunt. I need to show my boys this new location for some really good game, and then I have to be back in time for our council meeting.
Okay. What do you think about Pyrith?
Pyrith is a very noble dragonborn. He means well, and he's actually devoted himself to this town. So the fact that he's behind bars is kind of idiotic. I would think that whatever crimes he may have committed could be overseen or overlooked in a matter of speaking, depending on what he did. But I don't deal with items and such. I deal with meats.
Do you think he did it? No?
Well, it's hard to say. I don't really know him personally, but I would have to say if I was a betting dragonborn that no, he did not.
Two more things. Have you seen any goblins in the area?
My men have seen short, little, stubby little creatures roaming around the northern portion of the mountains, but we were not able to get in close enough before they disappeared from our sight. So, could be goblins, could be gnomes, who knows, really. Could be kobolds that somehow, or for some reason, left their home in the middle of the day. But we don't have any confirmed reports, no.
Okay. Do you, what's your stance on going to war with the kobolds?
I think it's quite stupid, but I could see how it could better Irisk, so I'm kind of torn between decisions. Anyway,
one more thing. Is there any? You're more familiar with the dangers around this mountain range? What are the indigenous species like around here?
Well, you've got in the forest areas that are a little south of where we are currently, which is where we're going to hunt, you have your normal deer and elk and such. There's a couple boars here and there and bears. Inside of the mountains, though, it's honestly kind of a mystery. We don't go too far into the mountains because the further you get, the more dangerous it gets, the more wild it gets. I've seen trolls, I've seen ogres, I've seen kobolds, obviously, I've seen mountain cats. I've even seen an earth elemental before, and let me tell you, you don't want to tussle with one of those.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for now. I'll see if any leads on where we could look into this whole pirate investigation.
Well, good luck to you, and yeah, we'll be off then.
Okay.
And he sort of whistles, and all of his men start to head out towards the exit.
Cool. What do you want to do?
Um.
You want to go to the house? Look
Yeah.
around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Or,
at this point, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna go. Guess we're gonna go to the house and investigate the house and see if we see anything out of the ordinary.
All right, so you approach all the houses, but before you guys even do that, Adeline, you finally
Mhm.
catch a glimpse of Myrid, and he's talking to the fruit vendor, and you can hear, or actually do another perception check for me.
Sure thing. Ooh.
Okay. So at the distance that you are, all you can see is that he's sort of talking, and it looks like he's talking in a low voice to the fruit vendor.
Great. I can see that. That's not useful at all.
No.
I'm gonna creep forward a little bit and see if I can get anything out of that, but I doubt it.
Let's see. So, unless you go right next to the fruit vendor to talk to her, you're not going to be able to hear anything.
Well, I will go up to her then.
All right. Go ahead and sort of like describe how you approach.
Well, I just walk up with my monkey on my shoulder, and I peruse through her fruits, looking at the monkey and looking down at the fruits, trying to get it to decide what it wants.
Okay. So yeah, as you come up, she looks at you and says, "Be with you in one moment." And
Of course,
then
of course.
she continues to talk to Myrid, and as she says, "Go on. What were you saying?" He sort of glances over at you and goes, "I'll just take the banana. I have business at the council hall."
Hmm.
And so they exchange coin. He grabs a banana and he sort of glances at you again, and sort of looks at the monkey, and then starts to walk away.
That's fine. That was completely useless, but that's fine. I'll follow him still at a distance after grabbing a banana as well for my monkey.
Okay. So you're able to grab a banana, and it is 1 gold,
Cool.
which she actually gives you 2 bananas because she thinks the monkey's cute.
Yes. All right.
And then other than that, who all is heading to the house? Is it the rest, all 3 of you, besides
Yeah.
Adeline? Okay. So as you're walking up to the house, like there's a bunch of different houses stacked together, and it actually sort of builds up like columns. So think of like a grain silo, except for made out of rock, and a little bit bigger. And then also think of how apartments are kind of spaced out going up, and that's sort of what their living situation looks like. So when you enter the house, it reminds you of a nest in a way. You've got a heating source in the middle of it, and then there's other various items scattered about throughout the middle, mostly like things to sit on, like pillows and stuff like that. There's no real furniture per se, except for a table in what looks to be a kitchen area on the side, but that is where they they use it to prepare meals and such. There's a bunch of different, I guess, utensils and pottery scattered around, and sort of etchings on the wall. So think of like pictures, and they're actually really wonderfully made. You can actually tell the facial features of the family. You can see Friddrayg as a tiny little dragonborn, probably when he was a younger. I don't know what you would call them, wormlings maybe. I don't know. But when he was a child, and then you see his older brother and his younger sister, with their mother and father standing behind them. So a nice little family portrait. Other than that, the house is well kept. There's no rotting food on the stove like the last house that you guys investigated in Ashenport. But you can definitely tell that things have been rummaged through, searching, and you see a chest sort of like hidden behind a bookshelf that is open, but left there open with no items inside of it.
Hmm.
Mm. I want to look at the chest.
Okay. So you go up to look at the chest, and you go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Sure.
Okay, so you grab the chest and you sort of start to look around it, and you notice that the lock is actually damaged to where even if even if you had the key that would fit it, it wouldn't be able to lock this mechanism. Meaning that this chest was placed here to be specifically opened.
Interesting. Hmm. And you said nothing was disturbed in the house. It was very well kept, yeah.
It was well kept, but it was rummaged through because of the investigation. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
they didn't sit there and just throw shit all around,
Mhm.
but it's still clean from the last time the family cleaned it.
And the items that were stolen, we know they're not magical, right?
Yes, you know they're not magical.
Okay.
Thanks, babe.
Uh,
Love you.
well, and how long ago was the investigation? Like, how long ago did they actually come into the house for the investigation?
From what you can tell from what they've said, it was probably just a couple days ago.
Days ago. Okay.
Jeff and Dravorkin, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Dum dum ba dum bum.
Ooh.
Oh,
Double crit.
Jesus, everything.
Yeah, so Jeff,
Say what?
If you take the lead,
yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Jeff, as you walk inside, you hear a voice in your head that says, "By the light of the moon." I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. Anyway, you guys are kind of looking around. Javorkin's looking around and thinking, why do they need so many things to keep themselves happy? This is not the orc way, whatever. But Jeff, you're looking around and you sort of see what looks to be near that bookshelf some like claw marks, as if somebody was trying to like move the bookshelf, but it had been previously hinged there to make it look like it was a hiding spot, but not really.
Dum dum.
I approach this, and you said it was to look like a hiding spot, but not really?
Yeah, so the original, like, the bookcase was not necessarily bolted, I guess, but it was fixated to the wall in a manner to where these scratch marks undid that for just that one location. So it was kind of pulled out, and then the chest was shoved in. You can see the sort of scuff marks on the side of the bookshelf and the side of the wall, to where it's very noticeable that something was placed here.
And does that outline match the chest?
It does.
Ah, well, I mean, we visibly see that, but the chest is empty. And he said it was almost as if it was made to be opened
Mm-hmm.
and pulled away from the wall, as if someone placed it there and then accused them of having something and then pulled that away and found the chest.
Yes.
Hmm. Dun dun dun. Okay. This is all I see with my human eyes.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, well.
Now, what did you say about the bookshelf?
I
Like,
said
there's,
that
like-
normally it would be fixated to the wall to where it wouldn't move to make sure it doesn't like tumble or crash or anything.
Right.
But someone went out of their way to unhinge it, I guess you could say, from the wall to try
Okay.
to try to hide, quote unquote, this box.
I got you. I see what's going on now. Okay.
At this point,
Well-
Adeline, you see Myrid walking towards the council chamber.
Well, I figure they're probably going to have their own stuff to do, so I'll just go hang out outside the council chamber. I'm not much for the sneaking or socializing type, being a hermit in heavy armor. So, I guess I'll just wait for him to finish with the meeting, however long that might be.
Okay.
I'm a fan of just hanging out.
And you're hanging out outside then?
Yeah, just nearby. Like down the street a little bit.
Cool. All right. As for the rest of you, yeah, the only other thing that you see in this house is that lockbox that doesn't lock and is noticeably there but shouldn't be.
And there's nothing else in the house. Trap again. I mean, no, I'm good. Never mind. No, I'm just good.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Okay. So, as you guys are like looking through the house and stuff, this all takes about like 30 minutes ish. So by the time you guys get to the house and start your investigation, Myrid has gone inside the council chamber. After about 20 to 25 minutes or so, he walks out and starts to head towards the houses himself.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'll tail after him. Far enough away though, like, because I mean it's not a big town.
yeah.
And he's seen me already today, so I'm not going to be suspiciously close.
So you guys are sort of closing up your investigation, and it's at this point that Myrid walks towards where Friddrayg's house is, as you guys are walking out.
Does he see us?
Yeah, because you
Can
guys
we
are just
set-
like, you open the door and you start walking out, and then Myrid's like 10, 15 yards out.
Yeah. Can we? Does he look suspicious? Like thinking, like, what are we doing in there?
Roll perception.
Or does he notice? Okay.
So,
Damn.
as you walk out, he definitely changed his pace to where he's walking a little slower now, trying to figure out the situation.
Okay.
Well, let's walk this way.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were already at the houses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's already saw us. So
You're
Okay,
at
well-
you're at number 11. That's where the houses are. You guys,
Oh,
this
okay.
this is where the hunters are.
yeah, and then we moved over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what time is it right now? Like 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go to the town, lady.
Edisot?
I just
Yeah.
thought, yes.
Well,
Go to
before
her.
you do that, you're walking out of the house, and Myrid looks very cautiously and starts walking slowly, and he approaches you. Uh, might I ask what you're doing?
Oh, just on a job for Edisot.
Edisot? You're working for Edisot?
Yep.
What are you working for? Did she need something from Pyrrhus' house? We already got
Yeah.
everything of importance out of there.
Oh, just double checking.
Well, did you find anything?
Honestly, I couldn't really see anything at all. You guys, yeah, you guys found everything. We just wanted to see for ourselves.
Interesting. Well, I guess, yeah. Good to see you around.
Okay.
Can I ask why would you care what we were doing in his house to begin with anyway?
Well, the fact that you're outsiders and in somebody's house that's currently behind bars is kind of, it's kind of confusing. And,
How so?
well, are you thieves?
Do we look like
Nope.
thieves?
I don't know. I don't know what a thief looks like.
Oh, really?
A likely story.
A likely story indeed.
But I just want to make sure that my good friend Pyrith doesn't get anything stolen while he is within this investigation. So,
Have
just
you-
being a good neighbor and all,
Have you worked with them for long?
I've worked with him for years. He's actually
Okay.
taught me a lot.
Oh, okay. Do you do deals with the kobolds as well?
I do, but my opinion is not often heard, but that should all change very soon.
Oh, well, what's your opinion? I'm curious.
Well, it's not really I guess it's my opinion about the trades, but you are not ever going to be on trades with me, so I do not have to tell you.
Okay, I'm sorry, no, true. Just curious.
Rightfully
Okay.
so.
Well, we'll see you around.
Okie dokie, bye. And he sort of walks in the opposite direction of you guys. And as you guys are walking away, go ahead and everybody roll perception for me.
Perception, you said.
Yeah.
Why? I have a +5 modifier and I'm rolling just garbage.
It happens.
Garbage. It does.
All right, so as you guys are walking away towards the council chamber, Adeline and Javor can kind of look back, and they see Myrid is still walking really slowly, and he hasn't quite made it past Pyrith's door, but he just looked back sort of suspiciously, trying to make sure that you guys are leaving the area.
That is very suspicious behavior. I
Very
think we should
suspicious.
continue looking and see if there's any hidden rooms or something, because there's something in there he doesn't want us to see.
Yeah.
And now I'm with you guys, and I will convey that message.
Okay, let's.
He's
go back
acting
then.
quite suspicious for, how people act.
Okay, well, let's go back and see.
Do we want to turn around now? Because he hasn't seen Adeline, right? He doesn't know about
No,
Adeline.
He's just looking at you guys, making sure you're leaving the area.
How about we go ahead, we leave the area. Adeline,
Yeah.
keep eyes on him and see if he actually goes back in.
Yeah, I can do that.
And then if he does, we could cut back real quick. Or you could actually, if Adeline could see if he tries to take anything out of the house.
Yeah. And we're obviously thinking all of this through our stones, and I agree to that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we were all thinking
Obviously,
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Glad we got that clarified.
Yeah.
All right, so as you guys are almost to the council chambers, Adeline sort of peers over his shoulder a little bit and can see Myrid sort of open the door to Pyrrhus' home. as he tries to enter.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna be watching him, and I'm letting them know that that's going on at the moment. Like, hey, he's going inside that house.
What do you think we should do? Do we go back and try to confront him there? Or see what he does? See what his next action is?
I think we should. Are there windows in this nest type thing?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like there's little holes to allow little bits of sunlight in, but that's just for the sake of sort of timekeeping. Otherwise,
We
the
gotta-
Dragonborn
gotta be
like to
careful.
sleep in darkness.
We're still outsiders here, and his word over ours, we're gonna lose, even with Episod's help.
Yeah, so we should definitely do something like confront him in there.
No, I mean like that's like opposite what we should do. I don't trust. Like we're outsiders still, and Episod can only protect us so much.
Yeah, I agree. We need to catch him like red-handed, essentially, is what we need to do.
And the only thing we saw was that box
Right.
that seemed out of place. We can go back at a later time when we're sure he's not there.
Yeah, that's what we should do, is wait till he leaves, go back and check and see if the box is still there. And then if it's not, then we know for a fact. Then we can confront him.
Sounds good.
That's what we should do. So, that's going to be our game plan.
I like it.
Yeah, so so I guess our group is just going to go into the council hall and pretend like we don't see him looking at the house.
Okay. All right. So, are you all actually going in the council hall? And if so, who are you talking to?
Head us out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you walk in. Did you find anything of useful note?
Well, we talked to all four. Well, the rest of the council members got their opinions on things,
Oh.
and actually, all of them think that Pyrith is a well off, good standing, well-to-do fellow, and most don't think he actually did the crime. And it seems kind of ridiculous that he's in jail.
It is ridiculous. Don't worry, I agree. I also do not believe he did it, but since the evidence points otherwise, I have to believe he is the guilty member. So,
Yes.
until his name is cleared, I have to do what it is. It's my duty.
No, I understand.
If I give handouts to all those that I favor, I will no longer be a lawmaster.
Also, we saw
Myrid?
Myrid. Well, we checked Pyrith's house, and the only thing we saw was his chest that seemed out of place.
Yes,
And-
that is where we found the items, and curious that it was unlocked. I would think that if you're trying to hide items that you just stole, you would lock it.
Yeah, well, we found out we couldn't lock it, actually.
Oh?
We tried to.
What all do
and
you
it wasn't-
mean?
Well, the lock was broken from the start.
Curious. How did we overlook that?
And I noticed behind a bookshelf, so usually bookshelves or cupboards are attached to the wall so they don't fall forward.
That is
This
true.
one- This one looked like it was unbolted, and
I did
there's a
notice
space-
that too. That is strange. And you saw the scarf marks.
yeah, that seemed to be the same size as the chest. So it seemed like someone pulled back the. I don't know. Something's not right. The fact that stolen items are unlocked chest, the pulled back cupboards, bookshelf, and the scratch marks doesn't add up. Something's wrong. Something's off about it.
I agree. And as much as I want to say that could show that if Pyrith is in the right mind, that he would hide them better instead of leaving them out in the open as such, available to be found so easily. You could say that it'd be easy for someone to say that he was just being a fool that day, or maybe he was drunk and he forgot, so he put them in the wrong chest. So unfortunately, that is not enough to clear his name.
When we were leaving, Myrod, he saw us, and quickened his pace, very, very. He beelined towards us and asked us what we were doing. He
Sounds
was
like he was
said
just
that.
being a good neighbor.
Yes, that's what he
Wondering.
said. He said. And he also said that tonight he's going to unveil his opinions on the kobolds. So,
Interesting. I guess we will see.
but like, I don't think there's much we can. We saw him go back to the house, and we almost wanted to confront him, but thought that'd be in poor taste in case something happened.
So wait, he's
So
at the house now.
Right
he
now,
went,
yes.
yes, he went there.
Come with me. And she sort of pushes back from her chair, gets up and grabs her sword and attaches it to her hip, and beelines it towards Pyrrhus' house.
Okay.
As you guys are all walking, she says, I clearly stated to everybody not to enter the house until the investigation was over. That is probably
Busted.
why he thought that you guys were up to no good, because he did not know I gave you all permission. But he should not be in that house. And so she starts to walk, and it is at this point that the door is left open, but Myra is not to be seen. Didn't even have the common decency to close the door. And which one of you saw him?
All of us.
That is actually incorrect. You and
Oh,
Dravorkin.
just me and Dravorkin. We saw him go in. I watched it with my 2 eyes.
Interesting. Well, if you would help me look around, and everybody go ahead and roll a perception check for me real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Natural.
What do you see with your eyes?
So, yeah.
What do
As
you
everyone,
guys see?
everyone's sort of looking around, Dravorkin, you see a sort of like a bookshelf. Well, you see the bookshelf that was moved, and you see that one of the books kind of looks a little odd. So you take it out and start opening the book, but you realize you can't read, so you just shake the book, and
What?
a page falls out. Oh, what is this? And Edisot goes to grab it. It's a map. And it has an X that's right outside of where the Hunter's Lodge is. What could this mean? She sort of ponders at it.
X's usually mean treasure. Just saying.
That is true. Hashtag ARG. Well, I guess we can either... Well, honestly, let us go and see what's outside this location.
Yep, follow the map.
There we go.
Following the map.
So the X is sort of like right around there.
Hey, look, an X.
Hey, look.
That's and tally ho.
Conveniently, there's a big red X on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a crudely drawn map of this area, and then an X is lying right there. So Edisot and you guys get over there, and looking around, like, you see a bunch of, hides being tanned right now, and stuff like that. And you search around where this X is, and well, the ground doesn't look as if it's been dug or anything like that, so I do think that this might not be a hidden location, but more of a meeting location. But there's no telling what time the meeting should be held. She sort of sits there. Could I trust you to sort of keep watch over this location after we leave for a good amount of time?
Sure.
Sure.
The hunters won't be back until probably a few days from now, with the exception of Brinieri. He should be back tonight for the council meeting. But I do have to get to that. I have to prepare. I've only got a couple hours left. So,
Okay.
obviously, this doesn't need 4 of you, so I guess divide yourselves as you would, and then the council meeting's actually in about 2 hours, so I will be off, and hopefully we can put this whole thing to rest soon.
Sounds good.
All right, so she walks off.
So I think Dvorkin has to go because he has to arm wrestle the guy.
Yeah,
I have a
he
arm
does.
wrestling appointment.
Did you talk to your supervisor? I'm just joking.
I already have approval.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe Adeline should hide over over here with his boar and just observe this spot.
That sounds good.
I like that.
And then we decide between Nishan and I who stays and who goes. Because one person has to go with so Adeline could just can the telepathy reach from here? Or is it too far away?
I would
Probably
say, yeah, it'd be so. Don't judge by the 30 feet and
Yeah.
stuff, but yeah, it'd be too far away from that location for him to reach you with telepathy.
Okay. Who wants to go and who wants to stay between Nishan and I?
Well, whoever it is needs to be able to support me
Yeah. We're both mages.
and cheer me on.
I think
Who-
since it's in the tavern and I have such a bad rep in the tavern at the moment,
Oh, I forgot about that.
I
That's a
believe
good point.
Sure.
I believe I will stay, and I
Good
will do the
call.
watch.
Okay.
That would have
Well.
been fun, but okay.
Does someone have white hands or no?
It's
No one-
you.
Does someone have
No,
what?
it's only 3 HP. Just didn't know if you guys had that healing spell.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Adeline
I've got
does.
lay on hands. Yeah, you can have 3. That's cool. That's an easy fix.
Does anybody have a strength booster?
No, I just have arm
Y'all
non-armor
it-
people.
have a
Is
strength
arm
booster.
wrestling an attack roll?
No, it'll be a strength check.
Okay. Well,
Alright.
wait. Which one is it? It says whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw.
Yeah, it won't be a saving throw.
Okay, never mind then.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing either.
That's fine.
All right. So,
Right.
as you guys sort of divide your group, you got Nishan and Adeline staying back to stake out the area. Jeff and Javorkin start to head towards the tavern because it is nearing that time. And as you're getting to the tavern, it's actually pretty full. There's a lot of people here. There's a good line outside, and pretty much everybody's peeled to the windows. The whole place is packed, and as Dravorkin nears, you can hear some of the Dragonborn be like, "Ah, the half-orc is here! Ah, yes, the half-orc! Come, come, come!" And then somebody grabs you by the hand, is like, "I will show you the arm wrestling table where you're about to admit defeat."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he drags you in, and Jeff, they kind of just leave you behind, but you're able to sort of push your way through the crowd to where you can get a good, spectacle. So yeah, they sit you down, or they gesture for you to sit down, Dravorkin. And as the time nears, everyone, "Jorum's coming! Here he comes! It's almost time!" And everyone starts to get a little antsy and very excited. And as Jorum enters the room, he takes off his plate mail armor and sets it down, and you just see this buff-ass dragon-born gentleman with red scales, and he can also see that some of the scales are scarred, which is kind of strange. It's not scarred like flesh, but they're definitely where he's been hit by things in the past. So it's like a battle scar, but on a scale. I don't know really how to describe that, but anyway.
I can see it.
Yeah, so he comes up and he sits down and he's like, all right, half-orc. Javorkin, right?
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Did you bring the gold?
I know. Maybe.
Well, confidence will not get you anywhere in this. Barkeep, I want to make sure that it is known to everybody that loser pays for the table. And he kind of, yes, sir. And he looks very kind of upset at the fact that he intends to break a table. He's like, all right, half orc. And he puts his elbow down and holds out his hand. Are you ready?
One condition: if I win, you have to give me something of value that I can remember you by.
I'll make sure that happens.
All right, let's do this.
All right, so what I need from you, Dravorkin, is you're both going to end up rolling 3 strength checks. So go ahead and roll the first one for me. Okay, so you start out, and I guess a random bystander sort of holds your fist together, and he's like, all right, I don't want no cheating, no shifting of the tables, and no using any other extremities to favor yourselves. Keep the wrist nice and straight, and no using your body weight. And then you both agree, and he lets go. And at this point, you hold your hand firm, but Jorim is a little stronger than you thought, and it starts to sway in his favor. Go ahead and roll another strength check.
Oh my gosh!
At this point, he continues to bring your fist closer to the table, and you're about halfway to the table at this point. And go ahead and roll again. So at this point, he gets it close, and then you can feel that the strength starts to leave him as you start to bring back his wrist.
What?
So you're bringing back his wrist, but he sort of looks at you, and you can sort of, if a Dragonborn could sweat, you would think that he'd be sweating right now, but then he looks at you with a sudden grin, and he winks at you and smashes your fist onto the table, snapping it in 2 and sending you to the ground. Ha! Ha ha ha! Jorim! And he sort of slaps his chest. Barkeep, how much is that table? It's 20 gold, Dravorkin. I think you have a tab.
Alright. Yep. Buy this man a beer too. Buy him a beer.
Perfect. I'll have a dragon's milk.
Alright, let's drink a dragon's milk.
So, just because, so he also had a +5, so he got a 14 on that first strength check, a 23 on his second one, and then an 11 on that last one.
my god.
Serious?
So they were close.
Yeah, that last part would have... I would have gotten you another strength check if you won, but since he won all 3 in a row, boom.
Yeah, that's okay. So how much is it?
It's 20, well, it'll be 24 gold since you're buying him a drink as well.
Okay.
So he sort of pats you on the back as he puts on the leather portion of his armor and says, I haven't had a proper arm wrestling match in a while. I do like you. If we ever open our ranks up to other creatures, might have a slot for you. But I do not foresee that ever happening, so... Anyway, so at this point, he sort of downs his dragon's milk in about 10 seconds or so. And he slams the mug on the table and says, well, as much fun as I'm having here, I have work to get back to, so until next time.
Until next time, buddy.
As he walks out, he's like, oh, and if you want, you can re-challenge me before you leave town.
Okay. I'll let you know. Probably will happen.
So he walks out, and the crowd's pretty much cheering. They obviously admire Jorim. Even though he is very vocal about his ideas of the kobolds, he definitely treats the people of Irisk with respect, and he is admired for that. Meanwhile, at the council chamber, well, actually, I guess, are you guys going to stay in the tavern for a little while? What are your thoughts?
What time is it?
So it just hit. So it's a little after 7:30. The arm wrestling match didn't take, a long time, but with you having to pay for the table and stuff like that, and people coming up to, be like, "Hey man, it's okay. He's just a strong dude. You're just not there yet." It's probably about 8 o'clock or so.
I'll head over to the council chamber.
Okay. And Dravorkin?
After I finish my beer, I start to make my way out of there as the crowd starts to unclutter.
All right. Nashan and Adeline, roll perception for me real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So far, nothing really seems to pop out, but you do see Brinnery start to enter the town, and he's walking, making a beeline for the council chamber. At this far, it's kind of difficult to notice, but you just know because you see splotches of darkness on his scales, and then the rest of it green. Just judging by the fact that he was wearing sort of camouflaged paint earlier, that this has to be Brinnery. But from this distance, you can't make it out.
Gotcha.
As for Jeff, you are in the council chamber, and you're there for just a couple minutes, just hanging out as the council members start to gather around, and Brinnery finally shows up. And they all take their place, and they all gather around Edisot's desk as she sort of takes out a scroll and hands out one to each of the council members. There's other Dragonborn that are sort of scattered throughout the hall, just mainly here to observe. They don't really care. And then you do see Myrid enter the council hall as well and sort of take a place sort of close up to where he can sort of hear and see everything. And at this point, Edisot says, "All right, please, if all members that are not of the council do bear respect as we go through our proceedings. If you have an opinion, you can voice it after our meeting. If you do it before, you will be escorted out by the guards. Is that understood?" And most of the Dragonborn start nodding their head and throwing up their fingers like, "Yeah, we get it." All right.
Yes.
Now, today's agenda is the council vote on how to deal with the kobolds, as well as the proceedings based on that vote's outcome. We also have some newfound evidence to bring to the table about Pyrith, and we will start with that, actually. So, as I would like to point out to the council members, my new investigators, and she sort of points towards Jeff, have been looking around and asking questions, and that was all because I needed a fresh set of eyes. I don't know who all to trust in this town at this moment, besides my council and my elite members, besides Pyrith at the moment, but what they found is a little curious. One, they noticed that the lockbox that we had found with all the items was unable to be locked in any sort of fashion, which means that this may have been planted there on purpose, and thus we would have found whatever items were put there in the possession of the box. As she says that, Joram sort of goes, or it could mean that Pyrith is just a fool, a drunken fool. And then Samoth looks over and says, "Do not talk bad about my finest trader. There's no way that he had any type of doing with this whole situation and this scandal. This is a setup." Brinnery sort of just looks around. He's like, "I've never met the man, and I honestly don't know. But I know if I was going to steal something, I definitely wouldn't have a lockbox that couldn't lock." And so, with the new evidence set forth, Edisot goes, also, there were sightings of Morid over there, and he sort of perks up and kind of is like taken aback. He's like, me? Silence. There were sightings of him entering Pirate Estate, and upon further investigation, a door was left open, as well as this map was left out. And she puts it on the table, and all of the council members sort of look at it, and Brunnery goes, why is there an X outside of my enclave? And they all look, and, well, did you investigate this X, Edisot? Oh, of course. What kind of lawmaster would find proof and not follow through? I did go with my investigative team, and we didn't find any of the earth to be unkept. So we think that it's some sort of meeting point, but we're just not sure exactly who is meeting or what time. I currently have folks looking into it, and that is all I can say in this situation. But it does look as if there is somebody or somebodies that are working together in this whole situation. And at this point, Jeff, I need you to make a perception check.
Perception is now.
So at this point, you can see Myrid over there, and he looks somewhat worried.
Mm.
Since his name was called out, he is thinking, maybe they think that I did this. So, as the proceedings go, well, now that that's out of the way, we have new evidence, but it is not enough to prove his innocence, nor is it still enough to prove that he's guilty. And Joram kind of leans in. He had the items in his house. He's definitely guilty. That is still yet to be seen. With this new evidence, we will have to proceed even further. But anyway, next on the list is the Kobold Vote. So, the vote at hand is whether we take out the kobolds or just leave it be and continue to do trades. So, upon Dragonborn rule, the votes will go with a majority rule vote. Whichever side has the most vote goes to that side. In the case of a tie, the second class families of each clan will also vote. And if the tie is still not broken, it will continue to trickle down the ranks until a decision has been finalized. So, all in favor of going to war with the kobolds, please raise your hand. And at this point, you see Joram and Brunnery raise their hand. All in favor of trading with the kobolds, please raise your hand. Edisot and Simoth raise their hand. Well, it is a tie, meaning that it will go down to the next the next families in each clan, which she starts to name off names, and Joram, which will not be able, or Pyrith, which will not be able to vote, making it a three-way majority rules. This vote will be conducted tomorrow. That way the families have plenty of time to prepare with the rest of their clan. As for now, this meeting is adjourned, and I bid you all a good night. And she sort of rolls up her scroll, and you can see she is quite frustrated, as well as Simoth. Joram looks quite proud of himself, having just beaten Dravorkin and getting the vote to sort of sway to the middle, as opposed to being beaten outright. And then Brunnery kind of looks as if he's regretful. So they start to leave, and the rest of the Dragonborn start to trickle out. And Joram goes over to Myrid. So, did you plant that map? What map are you talking about? Joram leans in. The map that she just found. Did you plant the map? She mentioned your name. You were seen outside of the house. So did you or did you not have anything to do with this? And, Myrid starts to sort of like pat his fingers together. He's no, no, actually, no. I saw them in the house. I didn't plant it. I went to go and see what they did, and I didn't find anything. But they could have planted it. The investigative team, they could have done it. Joram goes, interesting. They were in the house, and you saw this? Yeah. I was walking home, and I saw them leave the house, and I questioned them about it, and they said that they had been put on the case, but they are outsiders. There's no way. And Joram goes, I will talk to Edisod about this. For now, I think it best if you watch your tracks here, Myrid. We've got an eye on you. And so he sort of looks back and says, Edisot, may I speak with you privately? And she nods her head and enters his room, and they close it behind them. And now Myrid is definitely sort of panicking at this point, Jiff, but he is starting to leave.
Whoa, where are you going, buddy?
What do you want?
Oh, you okay? You seem a little flustered.
Well, I've just been accused of something that I couldn't have possibly done, and something I would never have done anyway, so I'm just a little upset at the fact that my name is being thrown around. This will ruin my reputation.
Oh. That's unfortunate. Why don't you just stay around and just talk to Edisod about it?
Well, it doesn't matter what I have to say. It has to do with my actions from this point forward. So I'm going to go home, and I'm going to have a nice dragon's milk while I get ready to go to sleep. After all, tomorrow is the big vote.
Okay. Well, see you then.
Yes, and he sort of leaves, kind of glaring at you as he does.
Is Bernay there?
Brennery,
Whatever.
yeah. So,
yeah.
He's still there, and he's sort of talking over to Simoth, and you can overhear their conversation. Simoth is sort of ripping him a new one right now. How could you vote against the kobolds? We had an agreement that you saw how troublesome this whole matter was, and that you would not go with your feelings towards Joram. I know you guys were longtime friends. I know you owe him your life, but you do not owe him the kobold's life. And Brennery's kind of just like, I know. Honestly, I regret what I just did, but I can't take it back now. It's too late. I acted on impulse, and it was the wrong move. And so Simoth is kind of just really upset, and she's like, well, I need to go sleep and hope that this whole thing just blows in the right direction. And she points at him. She's like, you better not regret this. And then she walks away. And then Brennery kind of just like wipes his brow a little bit, definitely like a little distraught about the whole thing, and then starts to walk away and leave the council chamber as well.
So Brennery's gone?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wanted to go see what Edisot's doing. What do you guys want to do?
Should we try to wait around for them to get done talking, or?
I mean,
You
if
can,
where are they talking at? In their office, or?
Yeah, they're talking in Joram's office. And now that the area is sort of cleared out, the guards look at you and say, now that the council meeting is over, you have no business here. If you have to speak with Edisot or Joram, I will have to ask you to wait outside of the chamber, for they are speaking privately and your ears may not interfere.
We wait outside the chamber, I suppose.
Okay. So it's at this point I need Nashan and Adeline to roll perception again.
Okay, just a second.
Crit fail. Not even close. Oh, better.
All right, so at this point, you can see from the council chamber, you see a gentleman that's walking down this road.
Mm-hmm.
He sits at this crosswalk right here for a moment and looks like kind of just stands there for probably about 20 to 30 seconds before he walks to the X. Jeff and Dravorkin, you guys were hanging out right around here, and you didn't see anybody except for Brennery walk this way, but he didn't go towards where his shack was. He went into this little hovel of homes.
Do we recognize who that person was? Sorry.
No, you do not. It's too dark to really make it out, but you can definitely see they have red scales.
Okay.
Hell, do you guys want to go towards the hovel?
Do we want to do that, or do you want to wait and see if anybody else shows up?
Adelin's going to be waiting to see if anyone else shows up because that guy's there by himself, which
Yeah.
is suspicious in its own right. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, Edisot is leaving the gathering hall, and Joram is right behind her. They both head towards this way because this is where the High Council homes are. And
I'd like to run up to Edisot.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, the vote did not go as I had hoped, obviously. I was not assuming a tie would happen. I was almost certain it would be a 3-1 voting pool, but somehow Joram has got his clutches in Brennery once again, having him do his bidding for him, or at least voting in his favor. Brennery is a hunter. He knows how creatures think. When they are cornered, that is when they lash out. He has told him, I'm sure, multiple times this was not a good idea, but he went with it anyway. So now we just have to hope that the rest of our people know the right thing to do.
What did should we be concerned about you and Jojem talked about at all? He seemed kind of, or no, I mean, you and Jojem seemed to talk about.
We were talking about the whole Myrid being found outside the house, but unfortunately, Joram makes a really good point. You guys are outsiders. The map wasn't found until after you guys had left and after Myrid had left. So, there could either A, one of you did it, B, Myrid did it, or C, there's still a third party.
Okay. Did we see that person? Did me and Javorkin see that person run towards the hovel? Or no, that's Adeline and them, right?
Yeah, Adeline and them saw somebody go towards the X. You guys didn't see anybody going this way.
And we saw
You saw,
a concern.
yeah, you saw Brennery go to his home in this area.
And then we saw what's his face?
Myrid went this way.
Okay.
His
Well,
home is over here.
Myra seemed concerned that he's accused, and he went home for the night. So where do we move from here? What do we do?
Well, honestly, I guess we have to wait. I kind of want to go and investigate that X area, but I need sleep, so I will probably, I will send a man over there to see if they find anything, but other than that, I'm not all too concerned about it right now. I'm more concerned about these kobolds.
Okay.
So, if you have nothing else, I would like to go to sleep, please.
Okay, yeah. I'll catch you later.
Okay. Edisot continues to go to her home, and Joram has already gone to his house for the night, too. So, I'm going to say about 30 minutes pass, and no one shows up to that X yet. So
it's just the one guy there still?
Yeah, it's just the one guy.
I'm gonna wait it out.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So at this point, you guys don't see, or Jeff and Dravorkin, what are you guys doing at this point?
Head over to the other two, see what's going on with
Yeah.
them.
Okay. So you guys walk on over there. Go ahead and do stealth checks for me.
Also, I fill him in on the person being there telepathically.
And they walk towards you first. So as you're walking over, you're not making super loud noises, but you're making enough to where, you know, a reasonable distance it could be heard. But as you approach the rest of your party, the gentleman is still standing over there. At least the blob that you see is still there. You don't really know what he's doing, or she, or it. At this point, about an hour and a half is going to pass before this person starts to leave the area.
Which direction do they go?
They head towards town.
Yeah, we need to stop that.
We
Do they see us as they come in through this area here?
It does not look as if they do.
yeah, we can't be too hasty here. We're still outsiders. And the only thing we saw is they stood there for what, 2 hours, and then that's it.
2 hours.
Alright.
I mean, they were set there for 2 hours, but it's also, I mean,
We could
Alright.
identify them, run up on them, and just be like, walk by.
Let's just walk by, or one person walk.
Okay, who wants to do it?
How far away is the person to us right now?
So if that's your plan, they're probably about right here as of right now while you guys are discussing this.
Okay, I can hold person. They're in range. Someone else should go.
I can as
That-
well.
That's not that. Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone not intimidating.
I guess it'll be me.
Well,
So-
Dravorkin did just lose the arm wrestling match, so
Yeah, so people think he's pretty weak.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll go ahead, and I'll just act like I'm walking back into town.
all right, go ahead and do a deception check for me right as you're leaving.
Oh God. What?
So you're able to make it past and look as if you saw something and want to investigate it as you start walking this way towards that other gentleman.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you're walking, the gentleman that's walking towards you is Shazir, which is Jorum's right-hand man, and he's got a fishing pole with him, and he has a couple of fish on a line.
Son of a bitch.
Interesting.
And he walks
Okay.
over and he's like, "Ah, hello. What are you
How's it
doing
going?"
out this late at night?"
I couldn't sleep, so I decided to take a nice little stroll to ease the mind a little bit. How was
Huh.
the fishing today?
Well, don't elves not sleep, actually?
We kind of do, and kind of. It's a long story, but anyway. So
Interesting. But,
yeah,
as you can see, the fishing was quite good, actually.
yeah, I can tell.
He pulls up two big-ass, like, 5-pound looking fish.
Oh wow, those look really good.
Ah,
That'd be
yes.
nice.
I fish here quite often, actually. Probably about once a week or so.
Okay.
As you can see, there's river all around us, and it is about this time of the week and time of the day where these suckers start to try to go upstream. I'm not really
Okay.
sure. We've not actually really investigated them. I just like to eat them for a midnight meal.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Let me ask you something. Did you happen to see anybody else lingering around that particular
Uh,
area?
No,
Or was
since
it
I've
just
left town, you're the only other person I've seen.
Interesting.
Are you
I guess-
expecting someone?
No, I'm just curious to see if I should watch out for anybody else while I was walking around. Don't want to startle anybody, you know.
Well, as long as you stick to the road, there's no reason to worry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Not
try to-
unlike those
100%
folks
believe.
that are hanging out in the woods over there. And he points directly at Adeline.
This is where I am all the time, so you know.
Yeah,
I've noticed he likes to sleep out here. Quite strange.
Yeah, it is very strange. I've been meaning to talk to him about that, but another story for another time.
Very true.
Uh,
Well, if you have nothing else to do, I would like to go and roast my fish.
As you should. As you should. Don't let me keep you, sir. You have a good night.
Oh, you as well.
Yes, thank
And
you.
he starts to walk away. Yeah, with his fish.
A decent cover story.
A decent indeed.
The plot thickens.
Bum bum bum.
I have a song for that actually. I think this is a good plot thickens kind of melody.
Exactly right.
But anyway, that's not the melody we're using. So anyway, so at this point, what do you guys want to do? It's about about 11:30 at night.
I think it's time to
Head on in. Go
head
to
on
sleep.
in, go to
Yeah.
sleep, get
Oh,
some
well,
shit.
wait. Let's go check that spot one more time.
One more time. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's look around and see what we can see.
Okay. So while you guys are standing there, Dravork and Adeline, do you go and help them?
Nah, I'm just gonna keep watch from far off.
I can help.
Okay. So go ahead and roll investigation checks for me.
A hermit's never lonely.
Not with a monkey.
And a
Right.
boar.
That's true, yeah. All right, so as you're looking around, it still looks pretty much the same, except for now there's a little stool that's close to the little cliffside there, but far enough away to where it's a reasonable distance to not be afraid of falling in. You can see a couple of worms that are laying around the area that show that he was actually fishing. And other than that, there's nothing really like enticing about this location.
I lift up the stool and look
Yeah.
underneath it.
All right. You lift up the stool and look underneath, and it's got the initials of Shazir on it to make sure that he gets his stool back. He probably forgot it.
Nashan, give me a hand with mage hand, and I mage hand, and I started digging in the. You said it's a bucket of worms. Or
No,
was
it's
it?
just a couple worms laying around. Like
There's
not
no
a
bucket.
Okay. Never mind then.
I think you might be reading into this too much.
Yeah, just double checking.
I think he might have been fishing.
No, if I don't say anything, I don't say anything.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, are you guys gonna retire for the night?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys retire for the night, and in the next morning, pretty much you can hear like the talk of the town is that the vote's gonna be at noon, and right now it's currently about 9 o'clock. So Adeline, from where you're at, you look, and there's still really no sight of like anybody over there. You walked around the area, and there doesn't seem to be any tracks of anyone going to or from that area.
Okay.
So, do we want to try to still keep eyes on?
I mean, I can stay out here all night. It's what I do.
Well, it's already morning, right?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
it's 9 in the morning. Gotcha, not 9
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah. I'm gonna do this to myself.
So you try to grasp your wrist, but the wind catches your robe and you miss. But the lightning goes into the orb, and the ray of frost will end up dealing 5 damage to you, and your foot is now frostbitten.
Oh. My good.
but only
Is
for
that
a
gonna be-
moment. Yeah.
Okay. Is that permanent? Let's see. Okie doke.
All right. So, 9 o'clock. Is there anything you guys want to do from 9 o'clock until noon?
Nope.
Go over to the gem trader.
All right. As you walk over, she now has a bracelet that she's imbuing with gems. As you walk closer to her,
Hello.
and she keeps on tinkering.
I won't bother you. You seem busy.
And then you start to walk away, and she continues to tinker as she doesn't even notice that you were there.
Go up to the armor and armor people.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any of the shops here at all? Actually.
Just like produce stands, so think of anything you'd get from the produce. But in terms of the stuff that you guys like to buy, there's just the jeweler and the two blacksmiths.
Yeah, I'll just go there, blacksmith,
All right.
and just I have a leather what is it? I have a padded leather armor that you said was worth 5 gold.
Padded leather armor.
In my bag of holding.
Okay.
I want to offer it to them.
Okay. So you bust out the armor, and you show it to them, and they kind of go, "Oh, there's blood all over it. That won't see any more use. If anything, the hunters might be able to make something of it, but there's nothing we would ever use that for."
Okay. I hand them a scroll advertising the other gem shop in back in
Size
Size-
place.
yeah.
All right, so they grab it and they go, "Interesting. We might be able to make trades with this man and make some better embroideries on our armor and weapons." Yes,
There's mo-
actually, think about all the different designs that we could do with this glittery ink. That could be pretty neat.
There was also a fairly big library over there.
Who needs books when you've got
Okay.
iron?
Well,
At this point, you hear a dragonborn from like the other side of the trading post. "Hey, that's pretty neat."
okay.
And then you hear
well-
another one. "Nature."
Nature.
Well, that's all I had for you guys. Take care.
Dravorkin, roll a perception check for me.
Okay. There we go. And bam.
Okay. So you don't know where it's coming from, but you can hear "cool, cool."
I go back to the tinker lady and I drop a pamphlet next to her as she tinkers.
Okay, so you put the pamphlet on, and she kind of stops doing what she does, and looks, and then continues to go back to tinkering.
I get a ink. Actually, write on the note explaining what that is and how you could do business with them, and also there's a library there. If you want to check it out in the town.
Cool. And then you just leave it for her?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Is anyone else doing anything?
I'm good.
Oh, I also hammer one on. Is there like a town like post like for news and whatnot?
You could put it on like a wooden beam that sort of covers the trading area.
Yeah, I do that, and then I put one on the outside of the tavern, or I walk up to the tavern barkeep and give him one.
Okay. And he looks at it and he don't see any harm in it, and he sort of posts it on the side of the bar.
And that's it. I walk to me back with everybody else.
Cool. So is anyone else doing anything, or do we want to just jump to the vote?
Jump to
good.
the boat.
Jump to the vote.
Okay. So
Wait. Yeah. I was gonna say change spells, but it's too late now.
I mean, if you got something you want to change, you can make the change. So, who all's gathering in the
Wait.
council hall?
I would like to do that actually.
Okay.
Is it on humanoids? It is.
Actually, want to sounds good. But gotta use the bathroom real fast.
Yeah, go for it. Anyone else need a
Same.
bathroom break?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Okay, 5-minute break.
All right.
Bruh, I can't beat this Candy Crush level
You play Candy Crush?
when I'm bored.
Interesting.
And earlier today, I started this level because I was bored, and I keep pulling it out because I can't beat this freaking level. And it's making me angry.
Can believe that.
It's literally taken over my life.
I thought you said it was only. Oh, you mean just that level?
Yeah, this level is I've been doing it all day. All day. You have to, I don't know if you've ever played Candy Crush, but you have to destroy the jelly, but they're on the outside of the arena, so you can only hit it with like the special Candy Crush candies.
Oh wait, yeah. I've seen Ingrid play, and she's like, you have to do this special combo, and then things pop off, and it's like.
Yeah, well, the only way to break these jellies is with those special combos. So you have to set up the combos, execute the combos, and still do it in under
Profit.
like 40 turns. And it's just it's killing me. It's come to the point where I'm now playing it all day instead of when I'm bored.
Just because you want to beat it.
Yep. Oh, well, I already lost this one. And you lose. Congratulations. Also, you only get a certain number of lives per like certain period of time. So I have to wait every like 40 minutes to try it again. I'm dying here.
I'm back.
All right.
Guess who's back? Back again. Brady's back.
I've been here.
Jello friend.
Dude, on a side note, guess what I did, Junior?
What's that?
Did you poop?
I got a violin.
Oh
Oh,
shit!
nice.
There you go, dude.
Yeah.
Violin's super easy to play, I think.
They're expensive.
They're not expensive. They're
No?
only like 200, 300 bucks at the most.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
Yeah. The hardest part about this is that there's no frets.
Yeah, so what we used to do, there's special tape that they sell at the music shop that lets you sort of tape where the chord would be.
Oh yeah, I've already put some
Okay,
tape
yeah.
on. I made a home fret board.
There you go. Yeah, because that's
I
what
found
we
all
had
the
to do.
notes.
There was only like 2 students in our orchestra class that didn't have the tape on there, but these were kids that had been playing that since they were fucking like 2 years old, so I'm over here like, I don't know how you're that good. Also, one was Asian, so I guess that makes
And
sense.
that
Oh,
makes,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, they were
I like how
great.
those are just general consensus. Oh yeah.
It's the truth. Is Jeff back? I haven't heard him. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like I can find all the notes because I have that musical ear.
Yeah.
I
It
get
takes you a
irritated whenever
second.
I try to find it without the frets being there. So I'll probably play the frets for a couple weeks and then take the frets off.
That's how you do it.
I learned
Okay.
Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's back.
We'll have to do a like dueling violins one day, Tony.
Oh yeah,
I just got to go to Tennessee to get my violin, but
just
and
go
then
buy one, dude.
I don't have any reason to. I've already got one at home. I just don't know where the fuck it is. Anyway, all right, we're all back.
Tony, you know the real difference between a violin and a fiddle?
Uh, isn't it just where you're at?
No,
The number of teeth in the player's mouth.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
somewhat
Oh,
true.
boy.
A fiddle is actually a little bit smaller than your average violin.
Is it a 3/4?
I think so.
Because the one I got is a 4/4.
Yeah. It's actually smaller, and the reason is because since the fiddle is meant to be played fast as hell, you have sort of a lesser of a note range than the violin does, but you can get your fingers there faster.
You can haul ass on it.
Yeah, hauling ass. All right.
I just
Anyway.
lost this level again. Just want you to know.
All right, so the council chamber is starting to crowd as you guys make your way. And inside of the council chamber, you see the 4 council members standing behind Edisot's desk. And Edisot sort of, all right, please settle down. It is time for the vote. Would the head family members of the following 4 family names, or following 4 families, approach? And then she names off 3 names that you haven't heard yet, and then Pyrith. So 3 people step forward, and Pyrith obviously cannot step forward. Now, the vote is at hand on whether you agree to go to war with the kobolds, or if you would agree to continue trade with the kobolds. If you are in favor of trade, please raise your hand. The member of the order raises their hand, the other 2 do not. If you would like to go to war with the kobolds, please raise your hand. The members of the soldiers and the hunters both raise their hand. And you can kind of hear, like, all sound has gone away at this point. Well, that does it for the votes. Semoth, can you actually take care of the rest of this? I need... I'll be right back. And she kind of walks out of the room, going into the jail cell behind her, and closes the door. And Semoth goes, well, I've never actually done this before, but I guess the defining view is that we will be preparing to go to war with the kobolds under Joe Rim's guidance. And then you can tell that she's just trying to hold back as much anger as she possibly can. And as you guys sort of glance over, Joe Rim's got a very notable smile, and he's sort of nodding his head in agreement with the votes. And she says, it's decided, we will be going to war with the kobolds. And she kind of walks out as well. Council adjourned, and then she goes to see what Edisot is doing. So it's at this point that Joram starts to shout at Shazir. Shazir, what all do we need to get prepped? How soon can we make this first attack? Well, sir, according to my calculations, we should be able to fight them within a week's time. So we will make all the necessary preparations, and by that time, the hunters should be back from their hunt and well rested, so that we have full numbers of all that are capable of fighting. He says, good, okay. Go ahead and send out to all the officers of the soldiers, and as well as the law order, and tell them all to make the necessary preparations. I need all the merchants to make specialized gear, and this is what we need. And then he pulls out a scroll and hands it to him. He's like, make this happen as fast as possible. Everybody, if you could go ahead and clear out, we've got much to do. You'll all be notified of your position within this war. And until then, council adjourned. And everyone goes out, and you can tell that even members of the soldiers, the hunters who agreed with the war, the regular members are not very happy with the outcome of what has happened. And it is at this point that we will stop for tonight and close the session. So, yeah. The rule is that they will go to the war with kobolds, and so far they still cannot make a ruling for Friddrayg and Fam.
So if we can get Friddrayg off the hook, then we're good to get the goblins and fight with them, right?
Most likely, yeah. We'll have to see how that all pans out.
Yeah.
And next time on Dragon Ball Z, I'm just joking. All right. Let me close out. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Did it not record?
No, hold on. I think it. I swear to God, it better have. Give me a second. Hold on. All right. Appreciate everyone coming out. Hopefully you had a good old time, and we will see you next time. Peace.